And happy Valentine's Day, my lovely Lost Tales, and welcome back to the Blue Rose Respite for my Wednesday night stream. I need to find a cool name for it. But yes, this is my first kickoff of potentially making Wednesday nights a regular thing as well for streaming. So hello, my lovelies, and a happy Valentine's Day to you all. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. We're going to have so much fun tonight, and a big thank you to everyone who's left lovely comments on my socials regarding my look this evening. You know, it's Valentine's Day. I want to put in that little bit of extra effort to make sure that, you know, our time together is really special, really memorable. Just adjust the lighting just a little bit. How's that? There we go. Oh, Urias, welcome. Hey, how's it going? Oh, thank you so much, my lovelies. You're too kind. I was honestly just like looking through my jewelry box. I need to get like one particular spot where I just put all my jewelry, but I kind of have it scattered throughout my flat. And I finally found this, and because I've been looking for like a pearl necklace or something like that for some other makeup looks or general looks, and I was so happy, like, yes, I found it in time for Valentine's Day, and it just works so well with this top. It adds that extra level of glam and sophistication and all that good stuff. Oh, but my lovelies, welcome. And yes, I did do my nails for the occasion. I did them in my usual kind of dark cherry. I think it's called like dark cherry or black cherry, this particular shade, but it's pretty much my favorite nail polish color. Oh, but my lovelies, how has today been for you? I hope all of you have been having a wonderful day, whether you're celebrating with a sweetheart or just enjoying some time for yourself. Either way, it is wonderful. I myself spent Valentine's Day making some delicious chocolate orange brownies and enjoying those while watching vampire movies and working on a secret project that I've been working on for a while now. I have many secret projects going on at the moment. And working on that a little bit, and also just kind of rearranging my space. I did a little bit of housekeeping, just a bit of cleaning, because I was feeling like, you know, I just want to re-energize my sleeping area in my studio flat, just to like swap some things around so it feels, you know, just refresh it a little bit. And so I'm very happy with how it's looking now. And yeah, so I've been just housebound today. Had a lovely sleep in, lovely breakfast and everything like that. Enjoyed my brownies and stuff. But yes, I am very excited for tonight. Now, this feels weird for me to be streaming on Wednesdays, but the change that's happened in my life last week was a little bit unexpected, so it's going to take me a while to kind of get into the flow of things. But going forwards, potentially with Wednesdays, I don't have a set game in mind, and I might be keeping Wednesdays maybe more for like playing games with friends, so my starting time might be a little bit different, but I'm going to see how it goes. I'm definitely keeping Fridays and Sundays my regular ones, but I might play around with Wednesdays until I find like something that fits right. Oh, well, thank you so much, my lovelies. The day's kind of just started. I'm going to go get some chocolate for myself and Joyce and Bridget again. Yes. Oh, a teaser just came out for season 3, so have a little look at that. I am very excited for more Bridgerton this year. And from what I see in the teaser, it looks promising. Boyfriend bought me some tea to cheer up while I got stuck with evening shift at work. Got home about an hour and a half an hour ago. Oh, Salvaholder, that's lovely that your boyfriend got you something nice for you. Hope you guys have a wonderful night together. I actually did my Valentine's Day plans last night because me and my companion were busy today. So I just did some nice self-care stuff, took it easy, and I was kind of tired, but yesterday was very fun. Oh, that's so fantastic, Captain Croak. Awesome. I have not seen the... Okay, I've seen the... Astarion kiss that they've posted on social media with Ascended Astarion. Listen, I am looking so respectfully. Just nothing but the greatest respect. Nothing but the greatest respect. Oh, all of a sudden I'm quite thirsty. And yes, well, I did think I was going to have a Valentine's this year. It didn't work out the way I expected it to, which and that's perfectly fine. I very much enjoyed my time to myself today, got to work on some fun things, got to just revitalize my space around me, do some nice things for myself, so I'm having a lovely day, and now I get to spend tonight with you, my lovelies. So, are you excited for First Bite? Because this game has been on my radar for a while, and I think it is the perfect fit for a spicy supernatural Valentine's Day. And yes, chat, you can be my Valentines this year. Like, if you're a single Pringle like myself, I personally relish in being single. I very much enjoy it and all the freedom that comes with it. But chat, we could be each other's Valentines this Valentine's Day. So we're all just here sharing the love, like appreciating each other's company and just having a good time together. Ooh, Arenas has already redeemed to pick my voice for Countess Stefania Swan. Well, I would be more than happy to oblige. But yes, it seems that we will be crossing paths with some more vampires this evening, it seems. Alrighty, so just so you all know, this game involves some... while it doesn't creep into anything that would be deemed inappropriate for this platform, there is some consensual BDSM involved and some other spicy topics discussed. So just a little disclaimer moving forward. This game, things get a little intense, so just proceed with caution. Take care of yourself. I, as your lovely hostess, will absolutely do my best to endeavor to take care of you. But just a heads up that there is some, like, spicy topics and a very interesting spicy dynamic in this potential relationship. So, just a heads up before we continue. It feels strange saying heads up. That's not what I usually say. Anyway. Alright, let's proceed then, shall we? Now, just in case things do get a little bit too heated, the Seraph of Stories has designed a lovely little screen that could pop up potentially if things get a little bit too out of hand. Just in case, would you like to see it? Because I'm not sure if it's going to be utilized tonight or in a future stream, so might as well show it now just so you know what she's been working on. Would you like to see? Alrighty, so just in case things get a little bit too hot to handle, then this screen will come up. Just until things cool down a little bit, and then we can continue on with the rest of tonight's entertainment. Alrighty, so... And yes, we're already at the menu and it's getting a little hot under the collar, so... Are you all ready for some vampire romance? As a vampire who is deeply romantic, I of course am more than excited for this game. So, let us begin. So yes, it is rated 18 plus for strong language. There is also character death as well in this, manipulation and other heavier topics, so if any of these make you uncomfortable, please read the warnings ahead. Actually, I'll read them for you. First Bite is rated 18 plus for strong language, violence, potential player death, blood and gore. Optional sexual scenes, including consensual kink and BDSM, supernatural emotional manipulation, and other content that some players may find disturbing. Some scenes may contain mild flashing images. Player discretion is advised. And from what I've heard from the studio, they already have released a DLC for this game, and they're working on another game as well. But I already think this is very promising. And yes, it's a very small development team behind this game, and also our beloved vampires in this game are voice acted by some very talented souls. including Marie Westbrook as Valeria, Alejandro Saab as Skylar, and Jalan Cassel as Laurel. All of them are absolutely sublime, and I'm not going to lie, perhaps my voice could be included in a future game? I'm just saying. I'm always open to starting a conversation. Nothing but darkness surrounds me. I close my eyes, desperately trying to blink it away, but there's just nothingness. A void. I'm alone. Where am I? What am I doing here? How did I even get here? I try moving my legs. Nothing. As hard as I try to run away, my body refuses to cooperate. I try my arms next. Frozen. Before I can try anything else, a light appears in the distance. There is something else flickering right next to that light. I can barely make it out, but what little I can see is horrifying. Glowing red eyes, bright white fangs, blood dripping from sharp talons. In an instant they multiply, dancing around in the shadows. They laugh, a cacophony of demonic giggles, and then skitter towards me at an inhuman speed, their movements chaotic. I'm helpless as they close in around me. An aroma of metallic sweetness infiltrates my nostrils, and I'm surrounded. Trapped. Then they pounce, claws tearing deep into my muscles as they grab hold of me, teeth sinking into my flesh. I try to scream, but no sound escapes. Part 1. Hunger. Okay, we do come to the end of that Pick My Voice, but thank you so much, Oretis, for requesting Countess Stefania Swan, because that was a great choice for the opening, opening introduction of this game. So thank you so much for requesting the Countess. I love doing her voice so much. It is so rich and sublime, just mwah, so good. Oh, do I have something on my face? I didn't realize that. Hang on. There we go. Ah! My eyes jolt open as I awake in a cold sweat. It was a dream, just a dream. Or closer to a nightmare. Depends on how you feel about being torn apart by vampires, I guess. My heart feels like it's about to burst out of my chest as my mind races over the lingering memory of what I saw. I quickly scan my surroundings to make sure I'm actually in my room. And also alive. Everything is in its rightful place and my laptop is asking me if I'd like to continue watching Death of the Dead. At this point, I should know better than to fall asleep watching horror movies, but I was lured in by the prospect of two hot characters kissing, and I just rested my eyes for a little too long. I feel called out by this. Also, yes, reference to other amazing visual novel games. Yes, yes, and yes. Yes, that makes me happy. Whoops. Some ridiculous part of my brain holds a kernel of hope that one day I'll enter a deliciously dark world of the unknown and unexplainable. But for now, I'm stuck here. Even my dreams won't let me near what I want. And now that these thoughts are once again racing through my mind, I know it's absolutely fruitless to try to fall back asleep, but I try nonetheless. I go through every trick in the book, breathing exercises, counting sheep, writing erotic fanfiction in my head, decidedly unhelpful. Surprise, surprise, I'm still awake, and blankly staring at my ceiling. Great job, me. I sigh, pushing the covers off my body. There's no point staying in bed. I grab my phone from my bedside table, bracing myself as I check the time. 3 a.m.? Once again, my body has betrayed me by falling into this disgusting habitual cycle. Have a nightmare, wake up, stay awake, rinse, repeat. Defeated, I yawn and stretch my bones as I stand, and I make my way to my bedroom mirror. I drag my fingers down my cheeks and glare at my reflection, illuminated by the dangling fairy lights. What's my first name? Stephanie.
Yeah.
Last name? I'll go Swan. Oops. Swam. Swan. Pronouns? And yes, you can pick your pronouns in this game, which is lovely. Eye color?
Blue.
I take a deep breath. I am Stephanie Swan, and I am going to have a good night. If only my therapist could see me now. Okay, I feel a little bit too called out by this game. I have a feeling I'm going to be called out by a lot in this game. A positive affirmation to start my... Wait. Is it night? Morning? The time between times? Normally when this disjointed sleeping pattern curses me, I either read my old collection of Gooseflesh books for the 100th time or write for my website. The singularly most interesting thing about me is that I have cradled and nurtured a cryptid blog to a nice level of internet fame. Ghostin is my main source of serotonin, and started out as a tiny forum, an avenue to find and cultivate friendships with those that love the strange and unusual as much as I do. It still serves the same purpose now, but on a larger scale. Mingling still happens, and the original forums are as active as ever, but I had to get creative and produce different types of content in order to keep myself afloat in this economy. My review of Where Are the Werewolves goes up later today, and I also need to upload that How to Attract Bigfoot video. The crown jewel of Ghostin is also overdue for an update. It's an erotica section lovingly dubbed the Cryptid's Coitus Corner, and it surprised me to see it become the most popular part of the website. It's not surprising for me in the slightest. I'll admit I'm no Bill Shakespeare, but it warms my heart to see people coming back for my wide and varied selection of supernatural erotica. Who knew that horny horror was like catnip to people all over the world, and not just me? Also, buff Mothman plushie, like, figures up there. Little, like, buff Mothman, Hotman, like, I love those. Please. Please, yes and thank you. Can we buy those? Please? Those are so cute. Unfortunately, I'm stuck on my latest would-be masterpiece, and all I have is the potentially questionable title. Mummy Milk. It's a work in progress. I wave it off. I'll figure that all that out later and update Cryptid Coitus Corner when inspiration hits. I lazily scan my room, trying to hit that motivation jackpot, when I pause on my window. The moon is full and bright against a starless sky, an excellent setting for some ominous entertainment. Maybe I need to get out, go for a walk, see what early morning Portland offers me. There's enough weirdness happening during the day in this city, so I'm sure something's bled over into the twilight hours. With my mind made up, I mosey over to my closet. What does one wear for a witching hour stroll? Knowing me, I dress in all black when I generally go out day to day, so I'm not going to dress to the nines. I am dressed to the nines a little bit tonight, but if I'm just going out for a walk at like 3 a.m, I'll typically dress in all black. Be sneaking around. Is this just Stephanie's room circa 2010? No, and how dare you suggest that? Not at all. No. I dress all black like my soul. I'll be as dark as the night that surrounds me. I find my favorite band shirt crumpled on the ground and give it a customary sniff to make sure it's clean before slipping it on. I'm wearing my favorite black jeans and boots and I'm good to go. I pose in front of the mirror, blowing a kiss to Mirror Stephanie. Looking good. I'm a little abuzz with excitement as I gather my bearings. The most radical thing I've done lately is quit my grey tone office job and pick up shifts at a local coffee shop to supplement the income from my website. We're continuing from that. It's comforting knowing that there are others like me who have this undeniable attraction to the things that go bump in the night, despite the monotony of my day-to-day. It's easier to exist when you blend in and squirrel away any untoward interests. It avoids awkward conversations, and no one's caught on to my deep, dark secrets yet. There was a time when I felt that my desires for the supernatural was something to be ashamed of. And, well, maybe they are in polite society, but after I spent too many brain-rotting hours in an office cubicle, I decided I would lean into the delusion to bring some colour back into my life. Most people don't see the value in that sort of thing, and that's fine. But I can't help it. Something about the occult excites me more than anything else. It's always been that way. I gave up trying to fight it a long time ago. I shake the thoughts from my head. It's no use thinking about that now. I have some inspiration to look for. I grab my phone, my wallet, and my house keys from my desk and give my room a once-over, making sure I'm not forgetting anything. Then, with a final flash of some finger guns to my reflection in the mirror, I'm out. God, this is me! This is me. I am my own hype man when I'm, like, feeling good. Like, I put my outfit together, I'm just like, ooh. Ah. It isn't long until I find myself standing outside the house. 6969 Dead End Drive. Really? Okay. Nice. It's creepy and old and no one actually knows who owns it. And right now it's luring me in. Normally I pass by on my walk to the coffee shop and during the day give it no more than a fleeting thought. Maybe it's the desperation for a crumb of inspiration, but tonight I'm intrigued. I don't know why I'm the most adorable person ever, Sam. I don't know. I'm just me, just vibing and thriving, just having a good time with my goofy self. For years I thought it was totally abandoned. The windows all covered with what looks like scraps of newspaper, but what gives me pause is the front yard. It's too well kept. Those bushes don't tend to themselves. Like every historic neighborhood, there's always that one house that has a particularly bad reputation, and this gothic beauty is it. I've heard all the stories. I count them on my fingers. Witches who eat children, an axe murderer who slaughtered their whole family, a pack of feral stray cats overthrowing the previous owner, a lycanthrope's hideout. I'm going to save it actually, because yeah, one thing about this game, you can die a lot in this game, so I'm going to be saving regularly, just in case. And so this feels like it's a good point to save. We went outside the house. And my personal favorite, vampires. I always thought it was a joke to scare away kids, to stop them from playing on their lawn, but if only it were true. Maybe not Mad Father levels of death, but it is a visual novel where there's bloodthirsty vampires in it, and if you kind of fuck up, like, the conversation options that you pick, it does lead you to horrible deaths, or horrible fates, I think. So I don't know how to navigate certain, like, branches in this game. I just want to get to a good-ish ending. And just kind of explore different avenues from that. So we might do a lot of like resaving previous saves and then trying different options if I just die a lot. But we will see. I find myself just standing here staring, tempted by the house and what might linger inside it, which isn't the smartest move. Hey Logan! Hey Steph, happy Valentine's Day to you. May today and week bring you everlasting joy / happiness. And same to you, Logan. I really hope you're having a wonderful Valentine's Day as well. I love you, you're an amazing friend. And thank you so much for coming by. I find myself just standing here staring, tempted by the house and what might linger inside it, which isn't the smartest move. In October. In the Pacific Northwest. It's dark, it's cold, it's also definitely about to rain. I should go in. The words fall out of my mouth without thought, just pure impulse, succumbing to the mystery tugging at my curiosity. I shrug to myself and look around. No one's here to witness my petty crime of breaking and entering. With my journalistic integrity intact, I will myself to stroll up to the house. The porch groans loudly in protest as I step on it, and my hand reaches out for the front door. I apply gentle pressure, and the door just swings open with a deliciously spooky, decidedly terrifying creak. That's not That's not what I expected. Was it just left ajar like that? Damn. I was very prepared to use the lockpicking skills I picked up from all the video games I've played. Which totally would have worked. As the door swings open, a slight breeze flows from inside, like someone forgot to close the fridge and let out the cold. I shiver against it. And then, finally, I hesitate. Should I really be adding trespasser to my resume? Am I actually doing this? Save. Come on, I'm not gonna go home. Like, there is potential for hot vampires. Of course I'm gonna go inside. Yes, don't be a coward. What would my therapist say? She told me it would be a good idea for me to say yes to more things in my life. This is almost certainly what she was talking about. Listen, Stephanie, you go into this house and you do it right now. Think of the possibilities. And if there are no corporeal beings, hopefully there will be a hot ghost that won't make me want to shit my pants. I push the door open a little more and squeeze inside. It's now or never. Once I get inside the house, my teeth start chattering. It's cold, like really fucking cold. Someone forgot heating exists. I think I'm in a small foyer, but it's hard to tell because without the soft glow of the moon outside, I can barely see my hand in front of my face. I pull out my phone, turn on the flashlight, and inspect my surroundings. As I shine my light around the room, I see this place appear to be lost in time. Nothing seems to have changed since at least the 1800s. Not the furniture, the wallpaper, or the smell. I inhale deeply and catch the scent of something pungent and putrescine, hidden deep within the normal old house musk. Unpleasant as it is, it's an aroma that intrigues the rest of my senses, beckoning me to find the rest of the secrets packed within these walls. At the end of the hall, I see a light sneaking through the crack of a half-open door. Whoever's here, if anyone at all, must be in there. I hold my breath as I listen intently for clues, and sure enough, there are signs of life I craved. I hear what sounds like muffled conversation, and then a very clear, "Fuck you!" I raise an eyebrow. Now this is something worth investigating. As I take another step, the floorboards creak loudly under my feet. Shit. I pause, silent as the grave, and still as a statue, and pray those muffled voices didn't hear me. There's a tense moment before the voices continue, and I release the breath I was holding. I pass the stealth check. Yes. Maybe. Continuing to sneak along the dark corridor, I creep closer and closer to the illuminated room. Then I'm right outside the cracked door with my back against the wall. Now that I'm closer, I can hear them more clearly. Three distinctly different, dulcet tones echo into the hallway.
Do you smell that?
Everything goes deathly silent. Then...
It smells like human in here.
I freeze instantly.
There it is again.
I keep telling you, it's your dirty cups piled in the sink. You're just as shit at doing dishes as you are playing cards.
At least when he sucks at cards, there's a chance he'll have to take his clothes off.
What have I walked into? Every day the cups keep piling up and not a nibble in sight.
First of all, I'm good at everything. A warrior like me just can't waste his time on trivial things like cards and dishes. Gotta save my huge brain and muscles for more important things. Second,
I hear the sound of someone inhaling deeply.
my nose never lies. I smell human.
The speaker's words hit me like a thunderbolt. What had I been thinking, skulking around in the hallway and eavesdropping on whoever lives here? Could be a troop of axe murderers for all I know.
Have we already forgotten the time your nose led us straight into that werewolf house party?
Somehow, despite the growing panic in my chest, the phrase werewolf house party makes me snort. I cover my mouth with my hand immediately, as though it might somehow take it back, but it's too late. Well, well, well. We might have company after all.
Go on. Show yourself.
Stop. I'm what? Half an hour into this game and I'm already just like, hi. I can't describe the feeling, but it's like I'm being compelled to step from the darkness and into the light. My feet propel me forward of their own accord, carrying me around the corner as I resign myself to the fact that I've been caught. What I see when I enter the room jolts me right out of my numbness into a state of shock. Ah! Hi! Hello, you three. Uncontrollably, my heart skips a beat. The three voices that I heard are matched by three equally as mesmerizing faces. They're so beautiful it almost hurts to look at them. And by the look of their slightly perturbed and yet also slightly intrigued expressions, I've clearly interrupted something. Using my big galaxy brain, I surveyed the situation and desired my next move. There's a mess of playing cards and glasses of red wine strewn across the table in front of them. The way they're holding their cards reminds me of an old spaghetti western, right before the shootout in the saloon. Oh look, a hydrate check, I wonder what caused that. The three of them stare at me in a way that makes me feel like a ham ready for carving. None of them speak, they just evaluate me with this bizarre hunger in their gazes. I should say something to shatter this long, incredibly awkward pause. Save. Okay, I'm now gonna start saving like the next 6 slots as well. I'm gonna play it cool. Play it cool. Hey Mike, happy Valentine's Day. We are playing a very spicy game, a very spicy visual novel with vampires in it. Enjoy. Just kind of look around. I appear to be lost? So, I appear to be lost. The words are barely out of my mouth before they leap towards me at inhuman speed, knocking me onto my back and pushing me down against the carpet. The breath leaves my lungs and my hands burn as bare skin and textile collide.
See? I fucking told you I smelled human. Never doubt me again.
No treat for you, just by getting it right, Ilyas. Assuming we all want to call dibs, should we rock, paper, scissors for her?
Dibs? Really, Laurel? Can't we just share? We haven't done that in a while.
I mean...
No, Valeria. As the oldest, smartest, and hottest, the human is mine by right.
I feel like a piece of furniture out for auction at a swap meet. Am I into that? I'm completely mesmerized by every hand movement, every turn of their lips, every glance in my direction as they bicker. My heart races and I can feel myself getting unnaturally hot, despite the freezing temperature of the house.
Don't be greedy, Illy. Think of all the fun we could have.
That's all it is for you. Fun. You two enjoy those pre-packaged little blood bags. But a hunter like me needs to feed. My fangs haven't pierced flesh in so long.
I mean, look at Ilyas' face! Like, look at that little, the sad vampire face. How can you say no to that face? The biggest one has been pinned to the floor, but despite their threatening words, they don't exactly seem intent on killing me right this second. Hey, Beelzebub, welcome back! Even lying prone on the ground, the first thing I notice is their teeth, or rather the deadly points of their canines. Their skin doesn't have the same plumpness or glow that mine has, almost like their capillaries forgot how to refill with blood. And the mirror behind them has no reflections. No, this cannot be happening. Can it? There's no way they're actually vampires? The word crashes out and they turn to me. Hungry, unforgiving, feral. The one they call Valeria grabs hold of my chin with a delicate hand, but there's nothing delicate about the way she holds me.
Looks like we have a fan on our hands.
It looks like we do.
Her dark brows are pinched when she leans closer, her head tilted like she's sizing me up.
You interrupted us, kitten. And Ilyas here was just about to take his shirt off.
Listen, the clubs that I go to, they have a lot of people who kind of dress like this or have this kind of energy. And I tell you what, you keep a level head, you get chatting to them at the bar, you have a lovely conversation. It's a whole other thing when they're vampires and it's just like, oh, I am trying to keep a level head about this. Okay.
Taking your shirt off is for losers. And I was clearly winning.
Also, does anyone spot the little Bayonetta figure up here? I think that's amazing. I love it. Winning, I'm afraid. Laurel, let him dream.
I don't have to dream about winning. Winning is all I do. Look at these muscles. My face, these cards.
The trio continues to bicker amongst themselves, and I just lie here, watching. Vampires are just myths, monsters made up by confused historians and then embellished by storytellers seeking to make us feel something. There has to be a simple explanation for these three, but now is not the time to get myself worked up in my own little fantasies. It's probably just some sort of kinky vampire LARP event, cosplayers who lift or something. And I'm usually so on top of these gatherings. Wow, it is me! The costuming and props are serious, movie magic fangs, even the red wine in their glasses looks like real blood. And it wouldn't surprise me if they've rented out this house for their own pleasure. There's no way you're real vampires. Who are you? A deadly silence fills the space between us and I graciously interrupt their quarreling. Valeria's hand gets tighter on my chin. Ilyas's body feels heavier against me. Who are we?
You don't think we're real?
I don't give a shit what she thinks. She'll know we're real enough when her blood is sliding down our throats.
Don't threaten me with a good time, Valeria.
Too much talking, not enough killing.
Ilyas lunges at me at a speed that my eyes can hardly register, and I'm in such a broken state of shock I say the first thing that comes into my head. Parle! They all pause immediately, going still as statues as they look at me with a distinct mix of disgust and confusion.
Parlay?
Do we look like fucking pirates to you?
Oh look, hydro checks! Wow, shocking.
You are what you eat, I suppose. Yo ho ho.
I'm sorry, is that like a vampire version of Parle where you have to let me explain myself before you kill me?
That green shit they put on your food to make it look nice?
Ilyas, you idiot.
Parley, not parsley. It's some bullshit the human picked up from the movies. You know, parley.
Clearly Ilyas does not know.
Besides, it's bold of you to assume we have anything to talk to you about, human.
Oh, Lord Azul has redeemed another Pick My Voice. This seems like a good time for a little Silka. Oh, do you want sweet and soft and submissive Silka, do you, for the next 5 minutes? Okay, I can try to hold my own against these. I'm just a little bit scared and I really wish the caper was here.
She could surprise you, Val.
You know, I never thought I'd be reminiscing about all the sailors I've eaten when I first sensed her quivering around the corner.
Honestly, Laurel, who hasn't eaten a ship full of sailors? Oh, now you've got me thinking about that time in Central Bay.
She gives my head a little shake, her fingers digging into my cheeks and making my mouth purse as she stares wistfully into the distance.
Oh, pristine beaches, expensive wines, obnoxious tourists no one will miss.
As they once again continue to talk as if I'm not here, my gaze flits between their gorgeous, terrifying faces, desperate to find something I can use. All those years of memorizing books and movies and useless video games and cryptid lore has prepared me for this moment. I rack my brain for what little information I've managed to learn about these three thus far. The biggest one, Ilyas, is apparently the oldest and seems to believe he's the best of the three of them in every way. He's probably susceptible to flattery. Valeria, the most petite of the trio, seems to have a penchant for luxury if the glazed look in her eyes when she mentions Saint-Tropez is anything to go by. And finally Laurel, the hardest to read of the three, gives me the distinct impression that they might be open to being entertained. I won't have much time to try whatever it is I'm going to do, so I'd better choose a vampire fast and just go for it. Okay, let's save here. So I suppose now the question arises is who should we go for? I'm maybe more partial to talking to Ilyas, but Valeria also seems interesting as well. Laurel, I think is a little too scary for me. They look cool, but I think they're maybe a little bit too scary. But Ilyas, he's maybe a little bit softer-hearted underneath all those really strong, really hard muscles, maybe? Okay, people saying that think I should choose. Okay, some people are saying Valeria. I think this is pretty much now the main choice of who are we going to romance. I am kind of curious about Ilyas and what that's like. So, chat, what do you think? Ilyas sounds good to you? Actually, yes. Let's go with Ilyas. I sense that there's maybe more of an opportunity for kind of helping. Like maybe we could talk our way out of this a little bit more easily. So let's go with Ilyas. I'm going to try to flatter Ilyas. I'm sorry, I just think if I'm going to die, it should at least be in the hands of the strongest, hottest, smartest, sexiest. I frown. I swear there was one more attribute he mentioned.
Don't forget the oldest.
Right, sorry, and oldest vampire here. Laurel rolls their eyes while Valeria shakes her head, but Ilyas practically beams.
What a smart human you are. Nothing gets past you.
Oh, I'm not a human, I'm a moth folk, and we're even more delicate than humans. I'm very breakable, actually.
Anyone can figure out that the way to your hearts is through your inflated ego, darling.
If we're going to do this, can we at least make it interesting?
This? The whole fast-talking your way out of a grisly situation thing. Their tone is so unbelievably world-weary, as if they've seen the situation play out again and again. They talk about my hypothetical death the same way I talk about Are You Scared of the Dark reruns.
I'd rather we didn't do much more talking at all, to be honest. I'm bored.
So you just want to kill the human now because you're jealous?
Jealous of me? I'm sorry. What happened to those killer instincts, Illy?
They're still there. I'm a stone-cold killer, okay?
He turns his wicked golden gaze to me, somehow exuding both murderous intent and boyish excitement in equal measure.
But if you want to say some nice things about me again first, human.
Flattery really will get you everywhere with him.
The vampires are all staring at me expectantly now, and this time the pressure is really on. Okay, let's do another save. Flattery seems to work with him, so I'll compliment his appearance. I couldn't help but notice that you have more muscles than is humanly possible.
That's because it's not humanly possible.
The massive vampire grins broadly, baring his fangs at me while he lifts his arms in a pose reminiscent of a bodybuilder at a beach in one of those old advertisements. You know, the one where they kick sand at the lonely nerd.
I have as many muscles as is vampirely possible.
How many is that?
A lot, obviously.
Obviously. Well, if I have to die, I can't think of a better way to go than being crushed between those perfect arms. Okay, that comes to the end of that pick my voice for Silka, because I need a minute. I need a minute. And I am paranoid, so I'm going to be saving almost all of these choices. Like, listen. Listen. Okay, another quick hydrate check. I'm not sure if there's like a wrong decision with any of these. I'm not gonna go with squish me like a grape because that sounds not super sexy. Crack me like a walnut actually maybe sounds a little sexier. I'm gonna go with crack me like a walnut. Oh, we're listening, alright. Oh god. And I do have that lovely new sensor picture that I designed, so we have that just in case things get a little too spicy. But I'm gonna go with crack me like a walnut. Crack me like a walnut.
You know just what I want to hear.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I'm putting a stop to this. His ego is already big enough, thank you.
There'll be no living with him after this. Well, if you're not going to let the human keep saying nice things about me, I'm just gonna eat him now. Kicking your ass at cards really worked up an appetite.
Again, delusional. But the point still stands. It does feel like you've reached your expiration date, sweet thing.
Somehow, once again, these three beautiful people are arguing amongst themselves, and I'm left with a moment to ponder my options. There's no going back for me, but maybe I can Scheherazade my way through this extremely sexy, scary predicament. It's clear to me we'll never settle on who gets to eat me if we continue on like this. You're all just too sexy and cool and clever. And I suppose you have our answer, do you?
Again, wasting time talking when we could be feeding.
Now, Illy. How often do we get entertainment of this caliber delivered to our doorstep? I want to see what cute little scheme she's got in her pocket. The massive vampire actually pouts.
It actually hurts to be this bored, you know.
I suppose we can hear her suggestion before we tear her apart. Talk fast, human. I can only keep these two from your throat for so long. Okay, well, I was thinking maybe I can ask you three a couple of questions. You know, for me to get to know each of you a little better. That way we can see who's the best fit to eat me.
You're holding Ilya and I back for a fucking job interview.
I haven't had a job in.
He frowns, his eyes squinting, mouth opening and closing. He seems to be thinking particularly hard about something. He raises his hand and looks to be counting on his fingers, but he gives up after a few moments. A long fucking time, and I'll be damned if I start now. Laurel inhales and exhales quietly, a hint of a smile on those perfect purple lips.
Absolute treasures, aren't they? Keep talking.
If they really are the creatures of the night that they claim to be, I'd better continue to think fast. I've survived thus far on wit alone, and I can't let it fail me now. Maybe confidence is key here. Maybe I can throw them off. Oh, this is a good question. You know what? I'm gonna play to my strengths. If this is like going on the assumption like, okay, they don't have reflections, blood drinkers, very powerful, but also open to flattery. And I'm an experienced blogger and smutty fanfiction writer. I know vampire tropes and characteristics inside and out. So I'm gonna, because like saying I'm still not convinced you're real, like that is fully expecting them to go like, oh, we're very real, and then nom-numbing on me. So let's go with confidence. But I've been waiting my entire life for this moment. And this is it. This is my chance. I'm practically an expert on your kind, you know?
Oh, is that so?
Then you already know we can't let you live.
And that we're hungry. In tandem, they all show off those murderous pearly whites. Well, shit. I should have thought this through, but it's too late now. Am I gonna die? So I just let it happen. Wave the white flag, if you will. They smirk, and all of a sudden I can't seem to track their movements as they take hold of me. My mind is clouded. My breath shallow as my heart rate decreases. Oh yeah, I'm dead. I'm dead. And then I feel my body being led. Valeria's cold fingers are tightly curled around my wrist, and Laurel's are entwined with my other hand. It would almost be intimate if it wasn't a prelude to my death. They lead me to the couch and sit me right in Ilyas' lap, my back leaning flush against his ample chest. Fuck, okay. Laurel and Valeria take their spots next to him, both still holding my hands. They spread my arms like an angelic marble statue. The position is holy, and yet the deed is dripping in sin. I hear a giggle, then two pairs of full lips are brushing over the soft skin of my inner wrists. Sharp daggers pierce my flesh there, sinking right between the delicate bones. They're feeding on me, and with each slow pump of my heart, blood leaves my body and flows into their hungry mouths. I'd almost forgotten about Ilyas behind me, and the third set of fangs embedded themselves into the juncture of my throat. There's nothing gentle about Ilyas, not like the other two. He's pure animal, a monster. I don't think I have much life left in me, a sharpness settling in my lungs that makes it hard to breathe, and then there's just acceptance. Worth it. I close my eyes and let the darkness take me. Yep, I'm dead. Oh, I love the humor in this game. Okay, perfect. And then we can just load it from the previous save. Brilliant. Okay, this is the way I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna save each decision, and then anything that leads in a dead end, I'll just try and like load the previous save, and then we'll continue from there. Sam, we're less than an hour into tonight's stream. Pace yourself, okay? I'm still not convinced you're real. I stand my ground. Surely I can easily play their game and win them over with compliments. There's just no way you're not LARPers. Silly, sexy LARPers. I smirk at them, trying my best to make sure it doesn't shake nervously at the edges. Either way, I guess it doesn't matter. Laurel exhales a lilting laugh.
Que sera? Certainly an interesting credo to live by. And die by.
You really are quite bold for a blood bag, aren't you?
I admire your tenacity, I suppose. We'll indulge you, but this is truly your last chance. Ilyas, clearly on a different page than Laurel and Valeria entirely, flexes his big, beefy arm.
I just can't believe you think that humans could ever have muscles like mine.
Valeria narrows her eyes at me and Ilyas palms his fist. He looks pretty keen on ripping me to shreds.
Illy? Not yet.
A moment of raw tension passes.
This better be as fun as you seem to think it will be, Laurel. I can think of a million better ways to spend my time.
Twitter, for example. Laurel pointedly ignores her.
Tell me, what exactly drove you to fling yourself into this pit of vipers, human?
Ilyas grumbles.
God, it's so boring when you play Puppet Master. I'm over it. Enough talking. I'm taking what's mine.
Oh no, how terrible. A look passes over Valeria's face like she's suddenly reconsidering things.
Oh.
You certainly don't want to hunt her now, Illy? Ilyas grumbles.
Come on.
She's just standing here like we owe her something.
A hunt can take many forms, Ilyas.
Even that of a light chit-chat. Ilyas throws them both a look of open disgust, but his sigh sounds a lot like defeat, however temporary that may be.
I'll make it fun for you, Illy.
If I don't, I'll finally bring that pretty little clerk home for dinner.
I'll even let you have the first bite.
Hi Shep, how's it going? The beefy vampire remains unconvinced. You don't make it easy, do you? Let's bring out the big guns, shall we? And here I was, saving this treat for a special occasion. Ilyas perks up a bit after that.
Humor me, and I'll hand over that extra special, super rare Wagelad spread from the 1992 Party Down edition of Glow Rods Weekly.
That does it.
The one with the,
Oh,
Yes.
baby.
and the...
Yes.
Wow, okay. Okay, yes, I even had it laminated to guard against your nightly excretions.
Fine, human. Check this shit out.
Ilyas straight up flexes, showing me his delts, biceps, triceps, and a multitude of muscles that I can't even name. You read enough dirty magazines to know that humans are definitely capable of achieving such a body, Illy.
I'll also take the liberty to remind you that you had those muscles when you were alive.
Yeah, well, can a human do this?
Ilyas drops to the ground and straight into a planking position.
Get on my back, Laurel. You too, Val.
Fuck.
You cannot be fucking serious. Wow, okay, I'm just standing here. Okay, Laurel doesn't seem to mind the request and sits astride him like they're riding a pony. With a huff, Valeria follows suit. I'm just standing here in like my all black outfit, just... This is fine. There's still air coming in out of my lungs. I'm still alive for now, so this is fine. It's an interesting sort of vampire pyramid. Now what?
Watch.
He begins doing push-ups with one finger. What the fuck is going on? What is happening to me? 1 second I'm practically begging for my life, and the next they're trying to impress me with their talents. I don't know what to think as my mind boomerangs from terrified to fascinated to enthralled. This certainly isn't what I had in mind all the times I've dreamed about watching 3 hot vampires ride each other. I'd be lying if I said this was exactly what I expected.
I'm sorry to tell you that everything you've learned from your insipid modern media is likely wrong. Laughable at best.
Everything? Laurel and Valeria dismount and Ilyas huffs as he stands to join them. Yes, everything. I have so many questions. Save. I'll go from the bottom up. I'll ask them about holy water first. Holy water is consecrated by the church. Does it work? All it does is get you wet. And if you wanted to get wet, there are a lot more fun ways to do that. Okay, but what about coffins?
Do I look like I sleep in a coffin to you? Who do you think I am? Fucking Nosferatu?
Now, hold on a minute. Are you saying Nosferatu is real?
In a way, I suppose.
Dracula is very real, and Nosferatu was based on him, so...
You know, I actually knew Dracula personally.
Why does that not surprise me? Ilyas groans, loudly, but Valeria continues, raising her voice slightly as if to drown out his obvious sorrow. Vampires might not age, but the way that Laurel and Ilyas seems to wither at the prospect of listening to her tell another story seems to sap a few centuries off their infinite lifespan.
Oh, it was all very exciting at first, the whole King of Darkness thing. But then you come to realize that he's far too invested in the wrong kind of impaling.
Fair enough.
Such a waste.
Wait, you had sex with Dracula?
Oh, well, of course I fucked him. I'm not stupid. Oh, he's 6'7" and built like a god.
Get it! Valeria, fucking get it, girl.
I'm just saying, it's unfortunate that he showed more interest in skewering his enemies than me. And I'm not going to beg any man, Dracula or not, to pay me attention.
Yes. Yes, 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 I love you. My mind is officially blown. Okay, now I have to ask, what exactly is the difference between vampire sex and human sex?
Oh, you poor creature. You have no idea. It's better than your inadequate human mind could ever possibly imagine.
I'm not dumb enough to straight up ask for a demonstration, but that's what I'm thinking.
We can physically see lust spiraling off of bodies like smoky tendrils, can taste the pheromones that linger on the tip of gasping tongues.
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone! We can smell every bead of sweat and... I'm not sure if I can say that word on stream. A plethora of aromas. Sweet, salty, and inviting.
It rules!
My heart starts racing, and then... Hang on, why the fuck are we still talking to our dinner? Dinner?
Yes, that would be you. Sans a good garnish.
I am known to be pretty tasty.
Ugh. My urge to kill it is dissipating. This human has no sense of self-preservation.
It's no fun if you're not scared. It really has been too long since I had a good, hot, fresh meal. As I stare into 3 sets of wide, scarlet eyes, I feel like I'm standing on the precipice of something terrifying and life-ruining. But my heart is racing like I've just won the fucking lottery. I think back to my dream. Was it a premonition? Was the universe predicting my untimely death at the hands of these 3 monsters? Hey, Greenlight Ring, how's it going? Welcome back. You know what would make this mortal's blood taste sweeter? Or taste better? A performance.
I want to play with her. Make it last.
Don't say that! They step forward again, just on the edge of too close, and their hungry gaze roams my body like they're sizing me up for feasting. The eagerness inside me awakens, stirring curiously, and it takes every ounce of my remaining willpower not to tip my throat and surrender. Kyan, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the Blue Rose Respite. We are having a very spicy Valentine's Day stream tonight, so I'm glad you could join us.
Fuck this. I want to kill him right now.
Please don't.
And I call dibs.
In an instant, Ilyas is racing towards me. His outstretched arms grab my shoulders and we topple over. As I hit the floor for a second time this evening, I feel a very real sense of deja vu wash over me. He licks his lips before baring his cruel fangs.
Ilyas, wait.
Valeria bends over and leans close, her long, silky hair falling in my face. She traces the curve of my cheek with her fingertip, trailing down over my jaw.
Tell me your name.
Stephanie Swan?
Well now, Laurel here seems to have taken a liking to you. So that means you have one final chance to plead your case. Good luck. And don't fuck it up.
Okay, we got to part 2. We survived part 1. Okay? I call that a victory. Let's save. I'm saving this on second page. Okay. Part 2. Taste. You're probably wondering how I ended up here. Ha! This isn't exactly what I had in mind when I left my house earlier this evening on the lookout for an adventure. Although it might be a situation that has played out in more than a few of my wicked fantasies, I have a terrible feeling I won't be getting the usual happy ending I imagine. No, this definitely doesn't feel like a running off into the sunset with 3 super ripped, super hot vampires with a gentle breeze blowing through my hair deal. Maybe they'll prop me up on the sofa when they're done draining me dry and dress my corpse in a fashionable pair of sunglasses. If I'm lucky. They certainly seem like the type. Focus, Stephanie. Ilyas, who still has me pinned to the floor, is staring at me, a frown pinching his brow, and I wonder if maybe he can hear some of the weird shit currently swirling around in my brain. Valeria, still hovering close enough that I can smell her sweet perfume, grows more menacing by the second, and Laurel, quiet, contemplative, terrifying Laurel, is wearing a smirk that could kill you from 100 yards away. They're leaning against the wall, watching the whole thing go down from a safe distance. It could be worse. It could be worse, maybe. If they want me to tell them why they shouldn't just kill me here and now, I better put my back into it. As a writer, I'm notoriously good at bullshitting, or as Ghost and user Monsterfucker69420 commented, presenting a fantasy that is people desperate for more. I need to figure out how to convince them to not open my throat and suck my life away. And if I fail, honestly it wouldn't be that bad either. I just go out in service of something I love. And then I have a light bulb moment. A fucking terrible, ill-advised, monumentally stupid light bulb moment. Wait. Ilyas and Valeria pull back quickly as if struck, their heads tipping to the side in the same way a dog would if you shook a treat box. Laurel just huffs a laugh, but it doesn't look like they plan on stopping me from further pleading my case. I have to wonder if these 3 ever managed to have a fresh meal. Save. Oh, I don't know about this one. Because I feel like the second one is kind of goading them. Like, if you kill me, people will find you. And they'll be like, oh, we've been here for thousands of years. Like, no one's going to track us down. Selene, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the Pluralist Respite. Glad you could join us this evening. Yeah, okay, I'm thinking... At the same time, the second one can also then go off, like, the tangent of, like, oh, I have a fan base online. If I go missing, people are gonna notice and then track where my last movements were. So there's that as well. Oh, since the last pick my voice was Silka, I think we should come full circle and hear Steph do her succubus character voice to help amp things up. Oh, I would be more than happy to oblige with that request. Let's see. I will say I'm different from Lilith. I'm Era, the succubus. Lilith is an entirely different creature entirely. So, let's see. I want to be like you. I feel like that's something that has to be earned. Let's try this one. Because, I mean, we've saved. And if it ends badly, then we can always come back and try again. I want to be like you. I have a proposition for you. Say I do end up with all the bargaining chips. What exactly do I want? I'm a paranormal writer. Am I just content to leave with only the memory of this insane night, trying to do it justice in my writing? Or do I want something more? A souvenir? A trinket, maybe? Or...
We're waiting.
Fuck it. These are vampires. Clearly immortality must be on the table here. I take a deep breath. What would I have to do to convince you to make me like you? Turn me into a vampire. Ilyas burst into laughter immediately, which is really great for my ego, if not expected actually. But when I tear my eyes from his doubled over, hulking form and look at Valeria and Laurel, they seem to be intrigued.
That's hilarious. A really good one. I forgot humans could be so funny.
Talk.
I mean, I'd be stupid not to ask, right? I've literally dreamed of having an opportunity like this my whole life. Can you blame me for taking the risk? You're going to kill me regardless, I think. Valeria shrugs and looks at Laurel.
The human isn't wrong.
Ilyas snaps his head from side to side quickly, looking between his two comrades just like they grew horns. Scarlet, thank you so much for the 47-month resub, coming up to 2 full years now. Wait, 4 years now, holy shit. I've arrived after my romantic evening, only to fall into someone else's romantic evening. Happy first Wednesday stream step. Thank you so much, Scarlet. You're an amazing mod and absolutely incredible friend, and I love you so much. Thank you so much, sweetie, for joining us. But holy shit, almost like full 4 years now of support. You're incredible. I love you. Thank you. Ilyas snaps his head from side to side quickly, looking between his two comrades like they just grew horns.
Wait, are you actually pausing right now? Why aren't we chowing down?
Ugh.
Shush, Illy.
So if you really want this, convince us.
My mouth falls open, then closes. Open, close. Right. I can do that. Shit, fuck, what have I done? I feel Ilyas' grip on my shoulders loosen as he swings his leg over to stop straddling me. Reluctantly, he sets me free, and I instinctively sit up, scooting my knees into my chest.
We're expecting some good entertainment this evening now, you know. Though I'll warn you in case you haven't already guessed, we're a pretty tough crowd.
I gulp, but I can work with that. This is just a game, right? A very stupid, very deadly game, but I've been gifted a few more turns thanks to this work in my favor. And hey, I've played tons of games. I just have to use all my charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent to turn the tables. Judging by the looks on their faces, the longer I dilly-dally, the hungrier and more impatient they get. And like I already said, and like they already confirmed, the odds of me walking out of here alive are virtually non-existent. That's more than fair. I pause, letting the words hang in the air. Knowing I now have the full attention of the vampires, I use my next turn to stand up and brush myself off, making sure my stance is as confident as I can muster. They don't need to know I'm metaphorically shitting myself, despite the probability of being able to hear my heart screaming in my chest.
It's not every day we come across a human who lacks fear when staring death in the face.
So, enlighten us. Well, firstly, you're all really fucking hot. Valeria rolls her eyes so hard I think they might fall out of her skull.
Okay.
Stating the obvious, kitten. What I mean is, vampires are brilliant, fascinating creatures that until tonight I thought weren't fact, but fiction. I've studied you, written about you. Why would I be afraid to die when it's literally my Freudian death wish dream fulfillment come to life? It's not as pretty as you seem to think.
There's a lot of blood. Like a ton.
a whole body's worth.
Oh, we have come to the end of that Pick My Voice, so thank you so much, Weaver, for requesting Era, my lovely succubus character. Alright, back to the game.
Oh, it's especially messy when Illy is involved.
It doesn't count if you don't get blood everywhere. He points at Valeria, and the look she gives him makes me think she might bite his finger off.
Plus, you're not even half as delicate as you think you are. You get sloppy too.
She turns her nose up at him.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Illy is right. Remember that couple in Trinidad?
Ugh.
I do not. She clearly does.
I remember walking in on the three of you. It was a complete bloodbath. I'll never forget your face.
Don't make me make you forget my face.
Ooh. As I listen to them talk about their past indiscretions, the idea of joining them on a raucous, blood-fueled vacation sounds deliciously tempting. I muster up as much willpower as I can to keep my voice steady. I'm serious about what I said. I want you to turn me. I feel 3 sets of eyes narrowing in on all my vital spots. Laurel looks me over like a hamster in a cage. Illy, Val, you are always commenting on your woefully ceaseless boredom. Maybe Stephanie can liven things up around here. They smile at me, and despite it reaching their pretty eyes, it doesn't quite stick. I am exceptionally good at making life interesting, if I do say so myself. I can teach you things like gaming, internet shopping, how not to act on Twitter.
We might be old, but we're not stuck in the Victorian times.
Oh, maybe you can fix my computer? It's doing that thing that it always does.
Maybe I could do that.
We can talk about your spectacular ability to infect every device we own with porn malware some other time, Ilyas.
He would be the type to click on the porn pop-up ads of like... okay, the sound that immediately comes to mind of like, I don't need to know there's hot sluts in my area. I live in my area. That is Ilyas. That just makes me think that Ilyas has said that actually, like, verbatim. But for now, our attention should be on why Stephanie wants to become one of us. What? Ugh. Hush. With a wave of her hand, I feel my words die on my tongue.
You think it's something we can easily do? Just turn you, like how humans adopt a puppy?
Well, it's not that hard. Illy, that's not the point.
None of us chose this life. It's not all amazing sex and free meals.
It's not. What Valeria means is that it isn't as glamorous as I assume you believe it to be. Valeria steps towards me, closing the distance between us. She takes my chin between her forefinger and thumb, making sure I have no choice but to look at her. Why should we even bother letting you continue to waste our precious time, Stephanie?
Oh, entertaining you and your little idea was fun for a second. But I get bored so very easily, and Illy's tummy is going to start growling soon.
She leans closer again, her lips brushing my ear. You won't like him when he's hungry.
Hey, I'm always hungry.
Save. Save. Oh. Okay, I want to be strong and I want to be young and beautiful forever. That seems like given ones. I'm curious if the second one and the fourth one lead to some interesting things, or they could straight up kill me or laugh in my face. I feel like the second one is interesting. Or maybe they're just gonna laugh in my face and be like, oh, you want to be a hero vampire, haha. Nom 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 nom. But I have saved it, so if we die, I can always come back and try again. Because yeah, that one feels like a little mean-spirited, like maybe Because it's a combination of both, like, you want to kind of match their energy, but they're also, like, saying, like, it's not all fun and games. So I kind of want to see what the second option goes with. So let's go with that one. If I was gifted with the kind of unimaginable power that comes with immortality, I'd do what any upstanding citizen would. I'd use that power as bestowed upon me to protect people from the evils of this world. That's incredibly idealistic when we live in a world of greys.
You do know we don't have souls, right?
That's fucking boring. I told you we should have killed him already.
Then I hear... Is that a meow? Wait, you have a cat?
Nasty Dennis, he's not just a cat.
His name is Nasty Dennis. I look around for this Nasty Dennis and see nothing. The quiet, somehow intimidating meowing continues. Can I see him?
Ugh.
It isn't quite that simple, I'm afraid. He's more fiend than feline.
If you do see him, it's probably a bad omen for you, human.
Is he like one of those cats who sits with elderly people in nursing homes before they die? Valeria snorts derisively.
Nah, I'll probably just shred your jugular.
So that's where the nasty comes from? Got it. Someone is enamored. I don't blame you. He's a fine specimen.
Right.
Despite being a complete bastard, yes. I wouldn't say that I'm enamored, just curious.
Isn't curiosity what killed the cat?
Valeria then gestures towards the gallery wall behind them with a dramatic flourish, presenting a portrait with dainty hands. Nasty Dennis is a shaggy white Persian with a permanent resting murder face, and he's wearing a dashing, tiny red bow tie. I assume that's him then. Oh, such a handsome lad. Save. I'm not gonna touch the portrait. I'll just go, oh, he's adorable. That's a cutest cat. I love him. He looks so soft. I want to kiss his fluffy, angry little eyebrows.
You really do have a death wish.
I lasted this long. Clearly.
Just because you've lasted this long doesn't mean we won't kill you.
Get out of my head, Laurel. Please. Please get out of my head.
Trying to distract us by using Nasty Dennis as a pawn. I'm on to you, human.
Come on.
Getting really hungry and my patience is running out. I'm this close to snapping and eating you right here, right now. Right, that whole thing. Shit, I'm not sure how much longer I can hold them off like this. Oh, thanks for the stretch check, Sam. Ah, thank you. I've partaken in a risky game of breaking and entering, trespassing, and most heinously, I interrupted their game night, and now I'm stuck in a game of my own making, one of life and death. I can't just stand by and hope they'll start to want to keep me around without putting the work in, especially with such an incredible opportunity being dangled right before my eyes. Like all good relationships, it's not all about me. I need to know more about them. I need to know what the fuck I'm getting myself into if this all pans out the way I want it to. You've interrogated me, now maybe you should let me ask you some questions.
A question for a question seems fair.
Laurel winks at me and extends their fingers, my eyes drifting to those sharp, shiny talons.
But be careful. Any wrong answers in your innards will make a nice table dressing.
Noted. Valeria seems to perk up at the prospect of getting to talk about herself.
Okay.
What exactly do you want to know? There are a lot of things I can think of to ask them off the top of my head, like do bats make good company, for example. But then maybe I should use my chances wisely and ask something productive. What do you miss most about being a human?
Nothing. I'm perfect.
I stare at him for a beat, and he seems pretty serious. I expected something a little more profound, I'm not gonna lie. Laurel smiles softly, almost wistfully.
Music festivals.
Okay, save. Because this feels like another one where it's like more focusing attention on one particular person. But because we decided we're going to go after Ilyas, I am going to ask Ilyas. Do you really have no regrets, Ilyas? As perfect as you are, Ilyas, there's truly nothing that you miss? Not one little thing? Nope, nothing. I told you once and I'll tell you again.
Yes.
I'm perfect. I have to admire his tenacity. Now it's our turn. Laurel's eyes are sharp and full of mischief.
Who do you stand in LBS?
When I decided to do a round-robin game of truth and truth with a trio of hungry, sassy vampires, I can't say I anticipated this one, but I must acquiesce. Now, LBS... This feels like it's something that they know, but I don't, and they're purposefully being dicks to me. Or is this something that I'm just not familiar with? I'll entertain them and just ask, what's an LBS? Who did the what now? An LBS? Laurel sighs and tuts at me, loudly. I instantly feel mortified that I don't know. Surely I'm more up to speed with pop culture references than these three? They offer me no answer either. I'm going to go forever without knowing who or what an LBS is, aren't I? Is that satisfactory, Laurel? They nod, but I'm not entirely sure if I've made a good impression or not. Before I can ask my next question, Ilyas practically bulldozes Laurel out of the way. Okay, Stephanie.
1. How does a 3-day hunt in the woods sound to you?
Yes.
2. How do you like your blood to taste?
Hot and fresh.
3. Where is your favorite place to bite someone?
Neck or inner thigh, depending.
4. What are your opinions on swords?
Yes, please and thank you. Well, someone's eager. Save. I don't think oh, okay, I did save the LBS one. Okay, save. Of course I like swords. Are you kidding? I love swords. I keep a katana by my bed while I sleep, like all good nerds. You do? Totally. Also, I have 3 Shinai and Bokken in my apartment. Not to brag, but I did take several sword fighting classes in college. Why is this actually me? I was in my school's fencing university club. I wasn't in the club for long, but I had a good time and I learned a couple of things. His big golden eyes seem to sparkle in wonder.
Hell yeah.
Whoa, that's awesome. Now.
Are you quite finished hogging the human, Illy?
Ilyas pouts and Valerie pats him on the chest, and then she's staring me down, a deadly look in her eyes. My turn.
Tell me, if given the chance, how would you try to impress a fine specimen of a vampire like myself?
Oh, good question. She pokes at one of her fangs with her tongue and feels like a threat. A sexy one. Think fast. Save. Okay, she is a lady of luxury. And loves to travel, so I feel like either the second one or the third one, if she's much more like being, you know, immortalized in art or something like that. I'm going to go with the second one because previous things she's talked about, she's very much into travel. I'd take you anywhere in the world. I want to take you anywhere, everywhere. We'll travel the world. Her eyes light up at the prospect and she doesn't even try to hide her apparent eagerness. I hold myself back from the launching into a poorly timed rendition of A Whole New World, but only just. Oh, I haven't travelled in so long. We used to go wherever we pleased, do whatever we wanted, eat whoever we could sink our teeth into. She sighs wistfully.
I miss killing people in different countries. Americans have come to taste so bland. My palate isn't as refined as it used to be.
Also, as someone who loves travel, this was made for me. I can fix that. I know where all the tasty humans hang out. New Orleans. If you want some tasty humans, go to New Orleans. The food there is fantastic. Valeria smirks and I feel my heart do a little lurch in my chest. Out of fear? Arousal? Either is possible. All of these questions, all of this incessant prodding. This is either the weirdest job interview I've had or the best speed dating session I've ever been to. I can't tell if I like it or love it. Before they pump me for more information, there's something I'm desperate to ask about. Powers, abilities. I know they have them, and I want to know it all. If I'm potentially going to be a vampire by the end of the night, I should be well informed about what my new body will be capable of. I want to know about all the cool vampire shit you can do.
Interesting priorities. Though it's a fair question.
I suppose the ability to see threads of truth you mortals can't.
The added benefit of near miraculous strength has its perks, but being a walking polygraph makes living in the shadows of humanity that much more entertaining.
It's hard to choose one thing.
He runs a hand through his hair like a male model in a perfume ad as he contemplates his response.
I'm basically good at everything. But if I've got to pick just one... Sharpened senses. I can hear a mouse's heartbeat at the other end of the house. I could smell you before you even set foot in here.
Well, being young and beautiful forever certainly has its perks, but if I simply had to choose one thing, I'd say that I quite enjoy thralling people. There's something inherently satisfying about bending people's will before ripping their throat out. You know, there's an art to it.
Mm-hmm. Well, those were all mildly terrifying. That all sounds incredibly cool and fun. The three of them look very pleased with themselves. It's getting late, or early, and I feel the anxiety pangs in my chest as they stare at me with thinly veiled impatience. Or judgment. I can't quite tell. My quick-firing brain is telling me that they're talking about me telepathically, or something. The silence is deadly. I've pleaded my case for long enough, and I really can't stand to wait around anymore. It's time. So, did I pass the test? Laurel taps their long fingernails against their chin in contemplation. I have one last question for you, Stephanie.
Call me curious, but if you had to choose one of us to be your sire, who would you pick?
Clearly, there's only one correct choice.
Yes, no pressure. This has to be a trap. There's no way this isn't. If I choose one, will the others pounce on me? If I don't choose, will I die regardless? Even if it is a scheme to get their fangs in my throat, I have no choice but to answer. Ooh. Oh, okay. I feel like saying any of you is kind of like I'm only interested in immortality, but we've been kind of targeting Ilyas more and more. And, like, he loves swords. He loves swords. I appreciate that. Yes, yes, yes. Like, for me, personally, I would probably like lean towards like Valeria because I think she and I just like have so much in common, and I think she would be an amazing sire. But I'm we've been leaning towards Ilyas because swords and going for like hunts in the woods. Yes, please. Ilyas. There's no question. It's Ilyas. Big, beefy, perfect Ilyas with his huge arms and himbo spirit. Obviously, it has to be Ilyas. Ilyas laughs heartily, one fang peeking cutely through his lips.
Well, is that your final answer?
Yes, it is. My cheeks flush and I shyly avert my gaze from Ilyas. Ilyas gives me a grin that's as smug as he is massive. You know, very. I fucking knew it. You really are a smart little human.
Like I said before, as the oldest, smartest, and hottest, you're mine by right. And since you're mine, I say you get to live.
Yay!
For now, anyway.
Yay! He gives me a wicked grin.
It's been way too long since we had any real fun around here. Hope you're ready.
He moves before I can even blink, snatching me up into his arms and bounding up the stairs with me like I'm some kind of oversized carnival prize. As I'm jostled in his arms, I do my best to contain my excitement about being chosen. I can't help but think about what's going to happen next. Oh no. What have I signed up for? I'm scared. Ilyas carts me off to what I assume is his bedroom. I wonder if this is what my groceries feel like when I'm carrying them up into my house. Speaking of metaphorical food, how hungry am I, and what exactly do I hope to gain from this one-on-one with Ilyas? Stephanie, you know exactly what you signed up for. Listen, you don't have to call me out like that, okay? Wow, there is a lot of... It's a guy's room, what did I expect? It is so messy. Okay, maybe this is just like asking about whether you're cool with things getting spicy. It is Valentine's Day. It knows its audience. It really does. It is Valentine's Day. And I did especially make that censor image for tonight's stream, just in case things get a little bit too hot to handle, too hot for Twitch to handle. But I haven't heard anything particularly like that it gets, while it's an 18+ game, I haven't heard anything that it gets like not safe for work visually. I might just have to jump through some stuff, but okay. There's only one thing on my mind right now, and that's Ilyas and I joined together in several unholy positions. I wanna fuck. Before I can dwell on it any longer, he tosses me onto the bed like a pile of dirty laundry. Whatever happened to romance?
I won't lock the door.
Thanks. He drags his tongue over his incisors.
I won't even close it. You could run if you want.
Oh, he's into primal stuff. He wants me to run so he can chase after me, I bet. Sounds like you want me to escape. No, wait, I'm gonna save before I select that. Sounds like you want me to escape. You kind of sound like you want me to try and escape. Ilyas comes alive at the thought. There's a savage gleam in his golden eyes that wasn't there before.
There's nothing like that. I can hear everything, feel everything.
He inhales deeply, as if he's lost in some deep, dark memory. I can smell fear, you know. I'm paranoid. I'm just going to save all these choices. What does fear actually smell like? The rise and fall of Ilyas' chest is shallower than it was before.
Fear makes your blood sweet, like honey.
He moves toward me, his tongue darting out to moisten his lips as he gets closer to the bed. I try my best to control my breath and my increasingly dirty thoughts, but him closing in on me is making it very difficult to concentrate.
I don't smell much of it on you now, but I could change that.
Save. Tell me how you do it. Ilyas looks at me for a moment, and then he's on me, moving so quickly I don't even have time to register it. 1 minute he's on the bed, a fair, safe distance away, and then the next he's towering over me, one hand on my head, tilting it roughly, the other grabs at my shoulder, and I register that my neck is fully exposed, fully vulnerable. His breath tickles my flesh, causing my core temperature to rise.
You act so brave, but all it took was one little movement to rattle you. Your own body ratted you out. Your little heart is going a mile a minute. And your blood.
He inhales, his breath coming in like his breath coming out in a growl.
Oh, that sweet fear. It's like syrup.
When he's looming over me like this, it's impossible to think. Fear and arousal are in a slap fight in the driver's seat of my mind. Save. Do it. Ilyas lets out a low growl, and then he darts down, his wicked fangs sinking into my neck. Am I dying? I'm probably gonna die after choosing that. I feel myself sinking, losing my grasp on the land of the living. Darkness comes swiftly, then nothing. Yeah, I knew it. You did ask for it, that's valid. And that is why we save. Okay, I just want to see if, like, it's those between those choices that it is a life or death choice, and then if we die in both options, then we'll scale back even more. Please stop. He laughs, a sound that makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up.
Beg me to stop. Beg me to spare your life.
I'm screaming. I'm gonna die. I am going to fuck it. This game is gonna be my cause of death. Please don't kill me. Let me go, please. Just like that. The words are barely out of his mouth before he sinks his teeth into my neck, his huge body closing in the rest of the distance between us to press me harder into the mattress. Am I gonna die? Again. Even as my vision tunnels, I can feel his arousal pressing against my belly. Fuck. Yep, I'm dead. Somewhere in the back of my mind, I have to wonder if tonight might have ended differently if I'd chosen my words more carefully, but it's not long before all my thoughts fade into nothingness. Yeah, I did say you die a lot in this game. Perhaps staring a vampire to scare you was a bad idea? Ah, okay. No, I'm not gonna beg. No. I may be hopelessly overpowered here, but I will maintain what little stubborn dignity I do have left. Not a chance. I'm not the begging type.
Boring.
Okay, and then we also die. Okay, so we're gonna have to backtrack that a little bit. Okay, so all those parts, and you didn't even entertain him. For shame. Okay, let's go back a little bit. This is why you save often in this game. Okay, let's go with I want you to turn me. Like I said, I already told you I want you to turn me. I tip my head in a show of courage, showing off the tasty exposed column of my throat. I'm moments away from straight up telling him to just take a fucking sip. I'm not scared. Ilyas folds his arms over his chest, his buzz seemingly harsh. It's not very sexy of you. He sits on the bed, looking sullen and bored. So... Ilyas drums his fingers on his thighs. Okay, and then let's save these over the other ones because they just ended in, like, me dying. Maybe poking at, like, that he's maybe a bit awkward isn't probably the best thing. I'll compliment his room. He likes flattery. Your room is nice. His face instantly lights up.
It's the best room in this house. Just look at it.
He gestures expansively, directing my attention to the various items strewn across the room or slung haphazardly over the furniture. I've hit the jackpot. There's so much shit in here I can ask him about.
Save.
Ask about the swords. You have so many swords in here. Do you collect them or something? Ilyas nods, his eyes shining with pure, unadulterated himbo excitement.
When I was human, I had many blades. But I only had what I could find in my travels. Did you know that you can buy swords from anywhere on the internet?
Yeah? Oh, he is just a big scary puppy and I love him. He picks up a sword, one that I know I've seen at a Renaissance fair, but my inexperienced eyes can't identify it further. I just got this one last week. He swings it expertly, but with the careless air of a boy playing with his toys. I can feel the wind from it slice through the air. It's not as good as the ones I used to have, of course. I bought so many cheap ones that broke with one swing. He frowns at me. Did you know people sell replica weapons? Fake weapons that look like real ones? He puts the first sword down and picks up a huge one that looks exactly like something I've seen in my favorite JRPG. I've looked all over the internet for a real one of these. Every one I've bought broke when I tried to use it properly. While others were busy dating, he mastered the blade. Indeed he did. He seems sincerely sad. Do I actually have the heart to tell him it's not a real sword? More compliments. Real or not? You sure look good swinging it. Ilyas grins at this, though his expression has a hint of danger in it. He lifts the sword high again, flexing and showing off. Don't I?
Don't I?
Yeah.
You know, not many have seen me lift a sword like this and lived.
A few training partners early on, of course. But after that, I travelled around, fighting as it suited me.
I must have slain...
He closes his eyes, perhaps calculating his body count. I could practically see the numbers manifesting around his handsome face. His lips move but no sound comes out. After a few moments of this, he opens one eye and begins to count on his fingers, then stops. Closes his eyes again, and then...
Thousands.
He doesn't exactly sound convinced. I decide to help him out. Tens of thousands?
Tens of thousands.
He frowns, still sounding like he's not quite on board. Hundreds of thousands? At this point, he just looks like he's just waiting to see how high I'll go. He stares at me expectantly, so I decide to give him what he wants. Millions. It's got to be millions, right? He grins, seemingly satisfied with the massively inflated number I've provided him.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
He lifts his weapon once more now that he's content, staring at it with naked adoration. I sure wish I was that sword. If I had this weapon when I was alive, I could have killed even more spectacularly. He dramatically thrusts the sword down in the floor, pointy end first, like he intended for it to stick out of the ground, but it cracks in half. He sighs, shaking his head as he drops it. That's 4 now. I guess they haven't been reading my emails. Your emails? What emails are you sending them? Every time I break a sword, I send them an email letting them know how they can make it better. Were you a blacksmith in your time? What? Of course not. Then what kind of advice are you giving them? I'd tell them to make it stronger. Obviously. I do my best not to laugh, but it's a close call. Makes sense. Have they ever responded to you? Never. Cowards. I'll ask about the music poster. I point to a massive poster taped clumsily to the wall. Big fan of the Jugalads?
The biggest? No one loves the Huegalads more than I.
Huegalads, sorry. He folds his arms over his chest, towering over me in a pose that would be incredibly intimidating if it weren't in service of his assertion that he's the #1 Jugalads fan. The Jugalads took over the music scene in the late 90s with their horny party music, but they've long since disappeared from the airwaves. Looking at Ilyas, however, you'd think they'd have never left. I should be careful with my response. It seems he takes them very seriously.
See?
That sounds like some gatekeeping shit. No, that's mean. Okay, that feels like if I say that, then he's gonna say name 5 of their songs. But that's also really mean. Maybe that's more of like a playful sort of thing. Okay, I've saved it. I'm gonna go with the first one. Because the last 2, I don't know, don't seem to fit right. You're wrong. I love them more than you do. Ilyas' face lights up, the very picture of delight. You love them too? He only just seems to register what I've said, laughing with a smile so sweet his eyes crinkle at the edges. Well, you still don't love them more than me, but that's amazing. No one in this time appreciates the Jugalads as they should. I fought the internet to defend them. The entire internet? The entire internet! The thought of Ilyas hunched over a computer defending the honor of a 90s Eurodance group makes me smile. I love this man. So you track these haters down, use their IP addresses to find their physical location and suck them dry? Ilyas purses his lips. Well, I battled with my words.
Don't get confused. I was merciless. I cut down the enemies of the Huegalads by the hundreds.
Yes.
I was so powerful, they banned me from the music discussion site.
He makes a fist, flexing his arm idly. Whoa, vicious. Okay, ask about the pinups. We got a lot of pinups here. I'm guessing it's safe to say you're a fan? Hey, that girl! That XY girl, sorry. Welcome, welcome! Thank you so much for joining us. Ilyas nods, revealing his fangs with an eager grin.
There's nothing more beautiful than male. Goes outside the bounds of gender.
Amen. He walks over to the wall with pinups taped messily to it, admiring the various bodies on display. Some are nude, some are near or mostly nude, but all of them are sensual. They seem to come from all sorts of different places. Some from magazines, some playing cards. A few of them are even signed, glossy photos like the kind you pay good money for at conventions.
When I was alive, things like this weren't so common. I had a few drawings I carried with me.
Oh,
My prized possessions after my weapons.
oh, absolutely. Like, on Valentine's Day, we do vampire activities because, yes, nothing says romance like some very spicy vampire romance. He looks wistful. Where are they now?
Destroyed when I traveled from my homeland to Europe. Losing them sent me to a rage.
Oh. He runs a hand through his hair. That was right before I met Val. I must have murdered half of Europe back then. Wait, you murdered half of Europe for lost nudes? He laughs like he's remembering some childish indiscretion, rather than mass murder committed in the name of titties. Thinking back on his attempt to quantify his body count, I think it's safe to say he's not that great with numbers. I was an absolute monster back then. My bloodlust controlled me at all times.
When I was alive, I enjoyed violence. But after I got turned, killing was all I thought.
He turns back towards the wall, tracing his fingers over one of the magazine pinups as he recalls some bygone time.
I could smell the blood of mortals. I could hear their frightened little rabbit hearts beating.
His fingertips curl inwards, pressing against the model's printed thigh.
It drove me fucking insane to hear them outside in the sunlight, living their stupid mortal lives as I stayed trapped in my room.
He tips his head back, his eyes closed.
So every night when the sun set, I killed. And when the town's eyes turned to me, I left them again.
Save. Okay, we've gone through all those topics of conversation, so I'm happy to save over these now. And that's when you met Valeria? He smiles, though he keeps his eyes closed.
She was the most beautiful creature I've ever seen. Second to myself, of course.
He exhales, a soft sort of sound coming from such a large man. His expression is almost tender. I was in the middle of one of my nightly blood rages, and it was a messy kill, even for me. He radiates a violent sort of pride.
Just picture it. I'm enjoying my kill. Blood all over my face and clothes. All over the alley walls. And then I hear this voice from behind me like, "You know you can't keep doing that, right?"
So I turn to see who would dare speak to me like this. He smiles.
I felt my undead heart stop for just a moment. I knew she was like me immediately. Her scent, the distinct lack of a heartbeat.
His red flags are big, but his chest is bigger. Amen. Those fangs. I've seen them do so many violent and sexy things over the years.
Anyway, I was intrigued. How could this hot stranger speak so rudely and confidently to me? She told me to get out of the street with my kills before I attracted the wrong sort of attention. I told her I was clearly attracting the right sort of attention. If a person as beautiful as her showed it.
Smooth. Nice. He seems very proud of himself. I'll give him that one. It was smooth.
I thought I'd put her in her place and humble her a little. But when my hand closed around her throat, she only laughed.
He sighs wistfully. What a fucking babe. I offered her some of my kill, but she said no, that she didn't need my leftovers. She said she was quite well fed, actually, and that we could talk more in private.
I let her take me back to her hotel room. She taught me about vampire culture, rules and all. And in return, I showed her my gratitude.
He bites his lip with one fang, nodding smugly as though he's waiting for me to follow along. I say nothing, hoping he'll spell it out for me.
It's my cock. Gratitude is my cock.
Yeah. He grins, cheeky and entirely too proud of himself. Laurel made that up. They're quite clever. So, oh, save. So, how did you meet Laurel?
Val and I were in New Orleans for a little while. We were doing a sort of murder tour, you know?
Yeah, can see that.
Val is a real artist with her kills. It's to keep it clean and pretty. Me, I like to see just how messy I can be.
He shows me those fangs again.
But we had a good time, the two of us. And New Orleans was where we did some of our best work.
Oh, it's all good, Talon. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm going to be very hydrated over the course of the evening, don't you worry. But have a lovely night, and thank you so much for coming by. We were working our way through the city, hunting and chasing whatever pleasures we could find. But it made me start to wonder.
I heard whispers of supernatural beings.
Oh, thanks for the hydrate.
Strength and powers I could only dream of as a vampire. When I stalked the alleys at night, I kept getting these weird feelings. Urges, I guess. I thought I was going mad at first, but then Val told me she felt it too.
The first couple of times I kept feeling the urge to kill after I finished for the night.
I mean, Mike, you can never have too much murder, right?
Yep. But it was risky. Kills just before the sun rises. Kills that might attract attention.
And it was weird shit, like remembering the woman who turned me. Sometimes it was just uncontrolled lust. I once took Val right out in the square in front of dozens of people.
Wow, okay. We couldn't even stop ourselves. His golden eyes glimmer with the heat of that memory. Anyway, being as smart as I am, I figured some supernatural creature must be behind it. So of course, I demanded they reveal themselves. I had to go all over town to hunt down the source, but I found them eventually. He gets that look on his face again, surprisingly gentle for such a self-professed killer. Another like Valerie and I, cold and immortal.
The other most beautiful creature I've ever seen.
He gives me a cheeky wink.
After me, obviously.
Obviously. Obviously.
He was so small. The power radiated from him. I had to know his secrets. But nothing they said to me made any sense. And then they started asking me questions.
Where did you come from? How did you survive this long?
But then, after we'd been talking for a while, he said something like, "Oh, you really are just head empty, aren't you?"
Oh. He folds his arms over his chest, a pouty expression on his face. No! No, puppy, it's okay.
Rude. My head is filled with all kinds of cool and smart things.
Yes, they are, puppy.
Before I could teach them some manners, well,
Okay, so I have such a weakness for this kind of character where they are just like, think like big, like not golden retriever energy, but like big Doberman energy. Like they look intimidating and they look scary, but they're like, you know, those videos of like giant dogs trying to sit on their owner's laps, and it's like big Dobermans or Great Danes, or like if you could just imagine like giant scary attack dog which like barks aggressively at people, but then like at home with like the person they trust, it's like fully like resting their head on your lap, and it is just like the sweetest thing. Just I am so weak for that, just, you know, angry against like the rest of the world and everyone except for my baby. For my baby I am soft and gentle, like oh my heart. His expression shifts to a considerably thirstier one.
he pushed me down and told me he'd show me the secrets to his power if I showed him mine first.
He. Great Danes are lapdogs, changed my mind. Amen, Lord Azul.
Since then, the three of us have stuck together. Must be 200 years or something by now.
Hell yeah. Damn, that's a seriously long time. It's kind of amazing. It is. But enough about them. Let's talk about me. We've been talking for a while now. Ilyas settles himself next to me on the bed again, but both the atmosphere and his demeanor are noticeably different from when I first came in. He seems far more comfortable with me now. Who would have guessed the secret to a vampire's heart is letting him show you his stuff?
It's time to do what we came here to do.
Oh? Ilyas is staring at me with a hunger in his gaze. But it's not the sort of hunger featured extensively in my Mothman self-insert fanfics, you know. The thirsty kind. Oh, you take care, Mike. Alright, I need to bye. I hope you enjoy the rest of the game. I'm absolutely enjoying this game, but you take care, okay? The look in those golden eyes gives me the distinct impression that there's nothing but a sexy, bloody death awaiting me here. Well, they're not golden anymore, are they? It's been fun. It really has. He smiles, baring his fangs to me. They look a lot longer than I remember. I idly wonder if it's some kind of supernatural fuckery that makes them extend when he's about to feed. When he's about to feed. Shit. I can hear every beat of your frightened little heart. He inhales, closing his eyes for just a moment as he takes in my scent. I could smell your fear. His eyes flick down to my lap, then return to my face. And your arousal. He draws his tongue across his teeth, his breathing beginning to pick up.
You're a smart little human, aren't you? You know how tonight ends.
I know how I hope tonight will end. This feels like another one that's going to lead to potential, like, death conversations, so save. I would say, like, me and the dead is very much like, yeah, I'm gonna die. I'm at peace with that. Let's go from top to bottom, maybe. With me in your bed? Ilyas laughs, but there's no sweet amusement in his tone. His expression only grows more twisted and frightening. Wrong. He moves before I even register it, one massive fist grabbing my forearm and tossing me to the ground. He stands, towering over me there on the floor. Even without his impressive height, I'd have to marvel at the sheer mass of him. That is, if my life wasn't currently flashing before my eyes.
Entertain me one last time, human. Let's see how far you can get before I paint the walls with your blood.
It's hard to formulate a response. I thought about this moment so often before now, but all of my little fantasies couldn't have prepared me for the reality of staring down the barrel of my own mortality. Oh, this is a good one. Running for it is going to set off his predator instincts, and that might kill me faster. Begging might actually, like, dissuade him a little bit and be like, oh, you're no fun. So, I'm going to go with beg, because running for it, I have a feeling he's just going to tackle me to the ground and, like, my jugular's just going to get ripped out. So I'm going to try begging. All I can do now is beg for my life. I thought I wouldn't mind if I was at the hands of a vampire like him, but I'm just not ready to die yet. Please don't do this. Hey, Nemo Nimbus, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the Blue Rose Respite. We are currently begging for our life as a giant himbo vampire is staring down at us, and I'm so happy. Please don't do this. Please, I don't want to die. Ilyas laughs, but it's clear my begging has the opposite effect than what I intended. He only seems to grow more savage, diving down and brutally pinning me to the ground. He's a mountain of a man no matter what, but as I look up at him from the floor, he fills my vision in a way that makes me feel entirely hopeless. His chest heaves, his handsome face distorted in a monstrous visage that turns my body to ice. His fangs are longer, his golden eyes piercing red, and his expression murderous.
Your fate was sealed the moment you entered our house, little rat. cute fleeing for your life.
Okay. Good to know for when I load my previous save. Okay. I don't even have time to react when he dives down and sinks his teeth into my neck. The pain is intense, and then I can't feel much of anything at all. My vision tunnels. My gaze drifts to the Jugalodes poster in the distance. Somewhere in the corner of my mind, I can hear a few hazy notes of their #1 worldwide hit, Bang Bang Bang, and it brings a weak smile to my face as the light leaves my eyes. Of all the things to be the last thought in my mind. Fuck, okay. You couldn't even go out with a bang bang bang. The Jugalodes would be ashamed. This fucking game. Okay. Let's give this another try, goddammit. I will attempt to run for it. Panic floods through me as I force my leaden limbs to move. I scramble up from the door and slam the full force of my body into the door as I fumble it open. I keep expecting to feel him on me at any moment, but it seems like he's waiting. The sound of his cruel laughter grows more distant as I flee from his room, but somehow I can still feel the phantom of his rough grip on my shoulder and his cool breath on my neck. My heart beats faster than as ever in my life, but my body still moves forward as on autopilot. They say fight or flight. Well, I'm doing both. I fantasize about being hunted by monsters like him more times than I can count, but I never account for the way fear consumes your every thought in this situation. I search for exits and places to hide as I run, but somehow all I find are dark corners and obstacles obscuring my path. My body eventually gives into terror and exhaustion, and when I trip over something, my jellied limbs can't quite manage to get me back up again. I only just have time to turn around before Ilyas catches up to me, slamming me into the ground and sinking his fangs into my neck in one foul swoop. White-hot pain surges through me in a flash, a deadly brand against my skin as Ilyas cuts through layers of fat and muscle with his dagger-sharp teeth. As my vision begins to fade, I dimly note the strange contrast of Ilyas' cold skin and the heat of the blood pooling beneath my body. If I wasn't currently dying, it might have been a nice touch for a story. But then there's nothing, and darkness takes me. Okay. You really thought you could outrun him? Oh. Okay, let's see. How far do I need to go back? Okay, I'm just gonna load some previous saves. Because I've been kind of doing them in order. Okay, let's try this one, because this one ended with both endings dying. I'm gonna try this one instead. With me by your side? I flash a sultry smirk, or at least I try to. It might not be as convincing as I hoped. Ilyas gives me a look that makes my blood run cold and my heart race. It's clear that isn't what he meant. At all.
If by my side you mean get at my feet in a pool of your own blood. Totally.
Well, fuck. He moves before I even register it. One massive fist grabbing my forearm and tossing me to the ground. He stands towering over me there on the floor. Even without his impressive height, I'd have to marvel at the sheer mass of him. Okay, this realized it's
Entertain me one last time.
Yeah.
Let's see how far you can get before I paint the walls with your blood.
Okay. Yep, and then it's the same thing, so let's... Yep, that's fine. With me in the dirt? With me in the dirt? Ilyas tilts his head to the side, grinning wickedly. Exactly. He moves... Wow, okay. Do all of these end in death?
Entertain me one last time. Let's see how far you can get before I paint the walls with your blood.
Okay. I think I've fucked up somehow. Yep, and then both of those lead to horrifying deaths. Let's go this one, because this one then talks about Laurel. Okay, so maybe asking more about him rather than the others works better, so I'm going to try that instead. I want to talk about your future. Enough of your past. I want to talk about your future. My future. Are you a psychic? I am. Tell me my future then. I see you and me and we're fucking and it's extremely hot. Ilyas laughs, grinning. Some psychic you are. I could have told you that. We've been talking for... Oh, okay. Far more comfortable with me now. Whoever gets the secret to a vampire's heart is letting him show you his stuff.
It's time to do what we came here to do.
Okay. Have I done something wrong? What sort of hunger? Okay, yes, then it seems like his hunger takes over. Okay, smart, sort of there.
You're a smart little human, aren't you? You know how tonight ends.
Yeah, okay, and then I've done all of these options, and all of them ended in death for me, so... Yeah, let's go back a little bit further. Log. Da-da-da. I killed him. When the town's eyes turned on me, I left and began again. Maybe, like, being sympathetic to him? Yeah, let's try this. What a way to go. It's a wonder there's anyone left there at all. But what a way to go. You're very smart for a human, aren't you? He makes a fist, flexing idly while his gaze remains firmly fixed on me. It's true, there's no greater way to die than by my hand, screaming and begging. That's why you're here with me instead of the other two. Oh?
You knew whatever they could give you would never be as good as what you could get here.
Yes. And what's that? I just told you. Yeah, but I like hearing you say it. Ilyas studies me for a moment, but the look on his face tells me he's willing to play along.
A good fuck. And a gloriously bloody death.
Yes. He bares his fangs at me in a frightening smile. Okay. Hang on. I'm just gonna skip and see if this is all the same dialogue leading to the same thing. Yep, okay. Huh. What have I gone wrong? Oh, thanks for the stretch check, Sam. Oh. Okay. Okay, let's go with this instead. You really killed half of Europe? And hey, Fracta, how's it going? Ilyas nods, entirely certain of his own suspect math. Of course I did. You probably think I'm lying because your mortal brain can't imagine so much death. He folds his arms over his chest, a cruel grin splayed across his lips.
Humans are so pathetically weak. Technology has changed. Your weapons have evolved, but all that means is that you're killing each other more easily. You fail to see the true threats. The predators at the very top of the chain.
He slaps his chest, his eyes beginning to take on a sinister red glow as he bares his teeth. Oh, okay, is this still... Wow, okay. Okay, I'm confused. Where have we fucked up? Huh. Okay, I'm just gonna keep backtracking until I figure out what went awry. Because yeah, we complimented on his room. We talked about all the stuff in his room. Yeah, let's just go back to the beginning of the conversation, and I'll do skip to kind of get through stuff that we've already seen before. Maybe saying you don't do this much, huh? You don't do this much, huh? It's clear that my words poke at something sensitive in him. Do what? Sex next to a human without killing them? He's clearly grumpy. Of course I don't. I'm not going to openly invite that. No, hang on. Okay, I'm just going to save. Because we know those two options lead to death, so let's do that. You don't just have to sit here, you know? I know, I wasn't going to. He stands again suddenly, looming over me.
I was going to show you some things, you know, before I kill you.
Oh? Okay, I would love to hear about your room. I'd love to hear about your room, actually. There's so much cool shit in here.
Yes.
Of course you would. It rules. He looks at me expectantly for a few moments.
You can start admiring now.
Your room is so nice. Okay. Okay, and then it leads to talking about all the stuff we did before. Okay, I'm just gonna click these and skip through. Okay, the swords. That one felt like that was the right choice, though. Real or not, you should look at swinging it. Okay, don't give me full spoilers, but if you have like a conversation map, maybe hinting at where I went awry. Because I can't pin down where things went wrong. Because it feels like we talked about all the other important things, but it was only after we got to the end of the conversation about Laurel that things took a turn for the worse. Huh. But I can't really pin down if there was like a particular topic of conversation that I picked one over the other that was like a wrong decision. Okay, let's talk about Valerie again. Oh, I wanted to ask you something else. That's nice and all, but I wanted to ask about something else. Elliott's expression seems to sour up as if I cut him off from a topic he was clearly enjoying. Yeah? What? Okay. Huh. Okay, let's just go from like the first choice and then onwards, because I think, because we do want to engage in something more, so that's the one that we pick. And then why would I run? Because if you want me to escape, then that leads to him like pursuing you and eating you. Why would I run? Oh, this is new though. Why would I run? I already told you I want to be like you. For you to turn me. Ilyas sighs, obviously rather disappointed.
It's boring if you just sit there. But if you ran, I could chase you. I haven't hunted anyone in so long.
He looks quite wistful. Ilyas appraises me for a little while, almost as if he doesn't know quite what the fuck to do with me.
Well...
He crosses the room to sit next to me on the bed, his big body hunched awkwardly, his hands resting upon his muscled thighs. He looks totally out of his element. It's kind of adorable. So... And then complimenting him on his room. Okay, then it leads to all these again. Okay, I'm gonna go from the bottom up in that case. That seemed to make him happy, so I'm gonna go with that one. And then the pinups. Half of Europe sounds excessive. While I wasn't exactly the #1 history student, the only thing I can think of that might match those numbers would be the plague. This is new. I was an absolute monster back then. My bloodlust controlled me at all times.
When I was alive, I enjoyed violence. But after I got turned, killing was all I thought about.
Okay, and then we have the skip option again, so this feels like... Okay, now it's back to what we had before. You really killed half of Europe? I get the distinct feeling that my time is running thin. If I have any other questions I'd like to ask him, now is probably the time to do so. Before we do this whole killing me thing, I just wanted to ask you something. Ilyas studies me intently for a moment. Perhaps his murderous instincts are warring with his ego and the need to garner more of my praise before he's done with me. This is new. Fine. Okay, then asking him about the swords. You have so many swords in here. Do you collect them or something? Okay. I'm gonna save this because this feels like it's slightly different. Modern weapon makers are cowards. You deserve a real one. Ilyas' eyes light up with the joy of someone who feels like he's truly being seen.
Hell yeah!
Yes, that's what I've been saying. He swings the sword again, putting on quite a show for me. He really seems to enjoy being watched. If these blacksmiths had any balls at all, I would have a room full of the finest swords the world has ever seen from every era of history. He lifts the sword high into the air over his head. This sword, if I had this weapon when I was alive, I could have killed even more spectacularly. He dramatically thrusts the sword down to the floor, pointy end first. Like he intended for it to stick in the ground, but it cracks in half. Okay, we've had this before. Skip it. Oh, and then it leads to this again. Fuck. Oh, gods. What am I doing wrong? Okay, I am going to save this. Because it did start out a little bit different. With me in your bed? Okay, yep, and then it ends the same way. Huh. Okay. So... let's talk about the pinups in that case. Okay, just because I'm a little bit stuck, I wouldn't mind maybe like some nudges in the right direction. So let's go with talking about the room, talking about the pinups first. Talking about Valeria and... Yeah, let's prioritize talking about Valeria and Laurel first. And we've already had this dialogue before. think it's probably best to ask him whatever remaining questions I have while I still can. Huh. And then asking about the music poster. I wonder if then there's a specific order you have to ask about things in his room. And then it leads to me not being killed. Okay. Let's try this again. Hang on. Okay, room. Swords. Pin-ups. Valeria. Because I don't want to distract for something else because he's currently talking about this. And then asking about Laurel. Music. Okay. Oh god, this is all such a mess. I'm gonna save over this one. Because this is just a mess by this point. Okay, name 5 of their songs. Ilyas scoffs.
Bang, bang, bang. All we do is party. In and out. We're off to Cancun. Uncle Bart from St. Bart's. Come on. At least ask me something difficult.
Okay, thanks for the heads up on that. So, those are their biggest hits. Anyone alive in the 90s could have told you that. Tell me something that proves you're a true fan. Ilyas stands up straighter, his golden eyes alight with the spirit of a challenge.
You want to see my concert stubs? I kept everything.
He walks across the room to dig through a massive box before he finally pulls out a thick binder. It seems like it was meant to be a photo album, but it's filled the clear sleeves with ticket stubs. As he flips through, trying to find what he needs, he has to peel the pages apart where they've stuck together over time. He grumbles under his breath as he hunts. Val made me put them in here. They were easier to find before. Somehow I doubt that, but the idea of one vampire forcing another to organize his mementos is strangely sweet. Here it is. Look at that. He shows me a ticket from New Year's Eve 1999. He's absolutely beaming. I hosted a show on New Year's Eve in 1999. At night. In the dark. He grins at me, waiting for his words to sink in. And yes, that was a Steam achievement, so we're on the right path, I think. You know, at night. Because you're a vampire? He nods eagerly.
It was on the beach. I haven't felt the sand between my toes in a long time.
Too long. He looks at the ticket, growing contemplative.
When I listen to the wiggle lads, I can feel the sun on my skin. I never cared about the sun when I was human. It was just there. I didn't think about it at all when I was turned.
He traces a finger along the plastic edge of the album sleeve.
But somewhere this need grew. The hunger for blood covered it for a long time.
He looks at me, an unexpected softness in his eyes.
When I listened to the Huego lads sing about fucking on the beach, I remember for a moment what it was to feel the sunshine on your bare skin. Fucking, partying are two of the most important things in the world to me. And the Huego lads understand those values better than any musician, dead or alive.
His expression is vulnerable in a way I never anticipated to witness. Okay, save. And I'm just going to start this because this is now on like the path of survival, shall we say. I'm going to save here and then moving forward. Actually, no. I'll save here moving forward because then it's nice, clean slate. No, that's dismissive. That's a little bit too spicy. Just, I hope we can listen together sometime. Ilyas bites his lip, his gaze almost gentle. He looks at me as though I've asked him something deeply romantic. I'd like that. He thinks for a moment, and then he offers me a mischievous grin as he sets the album back down. We'll see how the night goes. We've been Okay, am I gonna die now? We've been talking for a while now. Ilyas settles himself next to me on the bed again. Okay, am I dead? And I should have picked a different option with that last one. But the atmosphere and his demeanor are noticeably different from when I first came in. He seems far more comfortable with me now. Who would guess the secret to a vampire's heart is letting him show you his stuff?
It's time to do what we came here to do.
Am I dead? Again? What we came here to do? Ilyas grins, cheekier than I've seen him thus far. Don't play dumb. You know what I mean. Okay, here we go. I feel like if I pick the first one, it's just like straight up asking for death. It's Valentine's Day. Are you going to fuck me? Ilyas laughs, baring his fangs in a surprisingly friendly expression. Duh, but other than that, might be fun to keep fucking you. You know, for eternity. Okay, yes, we're getting made into a vampire. If you want to, anyway. If you don't, I can just kill you. Regular style. Up to you. I'll have fun either way. Oh. Guess I'll die then. I will take an eternity of fuck, please. Ilyas laughs. Such a beautiful sound falling from the lips of a supernaturally gorgeous man. He bites his lip for just a moment, and it makes my heart skip a beat. Good choice. Do you have any last words or whatever? As a human? Last words? I guess I do have to die before I become a vampire. I give a lot of thought to any regrets I might have, or things left undone. Please delete my browser history. You know what? Valid. Absolutely. But in all seriousness, there are things I should be prepared for after I get turned, right? Everything I know from the media, and as I've learned from this trio, that hasn't exactly been the most accurate. I do have a few questions before we start. Save. I want to ask all of them. I'll start from the top. What's the process for turning me? Ilyas folds his arms over his chest, sitting up with a very self-assured sort of expression on his face. It's easy. I drink your blood, you drink mine. Ilyas gives me a cheeky little grin, biting his lip with a single fang.
The hard part is gonna be making sure I don't just kill you once I get going.
He exhales, clearly lost in the pleasant thought of his own violence.
It's real hard to stop.
Who turned you? Ilyas' expression grows more serious. I don't know, really. He frowns, running a hand through his hair.
I spent my entire life becoming as strong as I could. But training wasn't enough. I searched for all sorts of things to make me stronger. Potions, amulets, trinkets.
But nothing worked. None of it was enough. Eventually I knew I had nothing left but to try to strike a deal with the djinn. One night I met a woman who offered me exactly what I hoped for. She told me she could communicate with djinn and that she'd make a deal for me. He gives me a cheeky grin. She was also very hot. Of course. So I thought, hey, sex and ultimate power, who wouldn't go for that? His expression grows serious again. Well, we fucked and it was great, but then she bit me.
The pain was like nothing I've ever felt. And I'm not a weak man.
She drank my blood, and he seems almost ashamed. I could hardly move or speak. I've never been at someone else's mercy in that way. He looks down at his lap, his expression serious.
I was so weak I couldn't even see what she did or how she did it. But I could taste her blood in my mouth.
And then the pain. She whispered things into my ear as the last pieces of my soul left my body. Cruel words and praise back to back.
It was the most intimate experience of my life. Before I met Val and Lore.
What happened when it was all over? Ellie's expression grows sullen.
Everything went dark. And when I woke up a few days later, she was gone.
She left me in her tent, alone, without even telling me what she'd done.
I tried to go out and find her, and the sun coming through the opening in the tent nearly killed me. I was a new vampire, with no idea what that meant for me.
Baby.
Hunger. It drove me mad.
Yeah, sorry, it's my neighbor's dog. Was picking up on the microphone. Sorry about that, guys. When the sun set, I left the tent and killed every person in my path.
I never did find her. Never even got her.
Baby. You know what? I'm just gonna do one for safety because we've gone through 2 of these questions. I'm sorry she treated you that way. You deserve better. Vampires aren't exactly known for their kindness, but his sire sounds spectacularly cruel and frankly irresponsible. Yeah, well, fuck her. I'll turn you way better than she turned me. You won't be alone like I was, and you won't. And if you feel like hurting anyone, he gives me a wicked grin. Everyone in this house likes pain. Okay, let's do that one before asking what it means for our relationship. Have you ever done this before? This is important to know, right? Like when you're getting a tattoo, you want to know your artist has inked someone before. Knowing Ilyas's experience would be comforting. Ilyas purses his lips, looks up as he tries to think back over the years.
No, not really. I did try it once, but I got so into it, I kind of just killed it.
Good to know. He laughs. That's the opposite of comforting, Ilyas.
Everyone fucks up sometime, right?
Hopefully not with me.
I mean, obviously I'm perfect and good at everything, but a hunter of my caliber? Can anyone blame me for doing what I do best?
He smiles so purely while talking about killing, steadfastly refusing to let me forget just how deadly he is. That's fair. Okay, what does this mean for our relationship? Our relationship? You know, like, when you turn someone you're attracted to, does it mean you start dating, too? Ilyas seems completely taken by surprise by this question. I guess? If you want to? I don't know. Is that what you want? Yeah, let's go back to this one because it's like we've asked all the other questions.
Yes.
Yes, I'd like that very much. Ilyas grins at me like he finds this absolutely adorable. Well, that's what you want. Why not?
Me turning you doesn't mean you belong to me. But if you want to belong to me anywhere, it's only natural you'd want to be around my perfection for the rest of your eternal life, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, it is. But what about Laurel and Valeria? What about them? They won't mind? Like, really? I thought maybe you all might be... Ilyas gives me a very smug look, like he finds me hopelessly naive. Vampires aren't like humans with their dramatic little love lives.
What I have with Laura and Val is beyond human comprehension.
You being with me doesn't automatically make you a part of that. Not if you don't want to be. Okay, so can we just, like, join the throuple? The, like, 4 of us, keeping an eye out for each other, watching each other's back and all that good stuff. Hang on, let me just double check the logs. What if I want to be? What's the point of becoming a vampire if I'm going to limit myself to just one lover? Who in their right mind would give up the chance to be with Laurel and Valeria too? What if I want to be? Ellie seems to like this idea. Sounds hot, but you'd have to talk to them about it, not me. But fuck that. Tonight's about you and what I'm gonna do to you. Ellie's golden eyes seems hotter than I remember, his eyelids low and his fang biting into his plush bottom lip. He reaches out to take my chin between his thumb and forefinger, tilting my chin up to reveal more of my neck. His gaze sweeps across my body, but it returns to my throat. For a moment I'm not sure whether he means to devour me or, well, devour me, but I don't have to wait long for my answer.
This might be the last time I get to have fun like this with a mortal for a while. Nobody ever comes around here. So if we're gonna do this...
His expression turns devilish. In fact, it's downright homicidal.
Make it fun for me.
He stands, walking over to the door and slamming it open with one massive fist. It flies off its hinges and out into the hall. He seems entirely unfazed by this act of property damage. Too horny and hungry, perhaps.
Run.
Okay, yes. Oh, absolutely. Alright,
Don't fuck it up by talking. Run.
Okay, yes, he's into some primal stuff. I'm on board with this. Yes, please and thank you. He doesn't leave me with much choice, does he? I take off, running past him and nearly trip over the door into the hallway as I go. Can you imagine how embarrassing it'd be if I died from a fucking fall right now? I could just hear the medical examiner. Cause of death, tripped over a door, fell arse over ankles down the stairs and broke her neck. Really? Broke her neck with 3 perfectly good vampires nearby? Waste of a good neck. Waste of good vampires too. I just missed my ridiculous mental dialogue as I thundered down the stairs, my heart racing from more than just the exertion. Where can I go in a situation like this? How far does he want me to flee? What if he gets too into this and kills me instead of turning me? Then again, what if he gets mad at me for not running fast enough? What should I do? Okay. So I'm just gonna keep like using up all of these empty save spots until we get to like the end, because we're just doing one playthrough. Okay, he's a hunter, so I think a little hide and seek would probably make him happy. I'm going to try hiding. Oh no, is this Valeria's room? As I make my way to the stairs, I'm startled by the arrestingly beautiful gazes of Laurel and Valeria peeking at me from what looks to be one of their rooms. Somehow in all the chaos I managed to forget they were here too. The decor seems to suggest it's Valeria's, but I don't exactly have time to speculate. The 2 vampires are lounging on the bed, each holding wine glasses in their hands filled with a mystery liquid. Is it blood? Wine? My fear-addled brain can't really distinguish.
Buyer's remorse, kitten.
No takesies backsies.
Oh, I hope you guys enjoyed the show then. Excuse me? I stumble past them and down the stairs, desperate to find a place to hide. I imagine they just kind of ting their glasses together as they just see me run past them. I don't see much here in the living room at first glance, but hiding in a room full of hungry vampires hardly seems like a plan.
Try the cabinet.
Laurel calls out to me from the stairs. I can hear Valeria laughing next to them. That ought to buy her a whole 30 seconds. I have been dying for a new cabinet. Shall we have a look online?
Delivery boy consolation prize. This is why I love you.
Ah.
Oh, I thought you loved me for my killer rack and my penchant for murder.
I mean, both?
I'm a complex being, Val. Why can't it be both?
Amen. Sure enough, there's a massive cabinet at the far end of the room that looks like it'd fit me. I fling the door open and step inside, doing my best to close the door as fully as I can. Unfortunately for me, there's nothing for me to hold on to from the inside, so I can only manage to close it most of the way. I can see a small sliver of the room from here, but I mostly don't need to. The moment Ilyas starts moving, I can feel every step. The house shakes, rickety old furniture rattling against the hardwood floor, and I can hear Laurel and Valeria giggling faintly outside. I thought I was being quiet, but suddenly every sound I make is so loud. My pulse is roaring in my ears, and the sound of my own shaky breathing fills the small space around me. I can't even see Ilyas yet, but I feel as if I'm standing out there exposed right in front of him. Ilyas sounds as if he's somewhere near the door. I know he must be toying with me because there's no way a hunter with his senses can't hear me shaking and sweating in this cabinet.
It smells like fear in here.
Stop that. He laughs, walking forward until he's just within my view. He closes his eyes, inhaling deeply and running his tongue over his fangs. When he opens his eyes, again, his irises are a bright red.
I can hear the rustle of your clothing as you tremble.
He looks at me now, his wild-eyed gaze cutting straight through me, even through this narrow field of vision, and I'm simply paralyzed. Arousal and terror are wrestling for control of me, and at the moment they're equally matched.
You really thought you could hide from me?
He reaches out then, yanking the cabinet doors apart so suddenly they rocket off their hinges to separate corners of the room. He's panting now, and from the looks of things, it's not much exertion as it is raw animal desire.
You're just so cute.
Thank you. And then he's grabbing me, scooping me up into one massive arm and tossing me to the floor. He's on me in an instant, kneeling over me as he reaches back to yank his hoodie off. Yes! Like, that slight difference in, like, it was already, like, all of the titties out, but, oh, yes, and yes. It's now a good time to tell you how fucking hot you are. Ilyas laughs, and the sound of it sends desire flooding through me.
Yeah, it is. Get it all out now while you can still speak.
I'm just getting the too spicy sensor screen ready just in case, because I don't know how hot this gets.
Because I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Yes, do it! I laugh, nervous and breathless. Being killed is part of the whole deal with being turned, right? But when he says it like that, I can't be sure if he means it like that or, well, like that. My hands feel so clumsy as I try to remove my clothing. Ilyas must feel the same because he leaves off his own undressing and reaches down to help me, tearing a few things when he can't seem to get them off fast enough. Hey, I liked that. Okay, I genuinely don't know how spicy things are gonna get. Are you guys okay with me throwing up the screen and I'll just keep narrating the text? Because I just don't want it to be like full not safe for work before like I can react fast enough. Okay, so unless something visually comes up that's like, okay, this is fine, then I'll take it down. But I just want to proceed with caution. I don't know how hot this is gonna get, so I will continue narrating. The spice must flow.
We'll get you another one.
He bends down to kiss me, and I'm shocked by the cool feeling of his lips on mine. Even more so, the feeling of his tongue. I've heard vampires are cold, and I've certainly felt his touch through the evening, but this might be the most surreal thing I've experienced thus far. Is the rest of you this cold? You'll find out soon. His hands are all over me, exploring and squeezing every last bit of me they can reach. It's surprisingly gentle, all things considered. His touch is rough and consumptive, and he's clearly eager. But this is a creature of the night. The fact that I'm still alive and not covered head to toe in bite marks is somewhat impressive. That feels amazing. Can you do it again?
Who said you could give me orders?
You can't just say that! Is that a no? He does as I asked anyway, burying his grumpy expression in my neck. Perhaps it's so I won't see that he might like being ordered around a little bit. Little bit of switch energy in there, okay. As things start to heat up, he comes back to my neck again and again, and I realize it's probably taking quite a bit of willpower not to just go feral and eat me.
You're so fucking warm.
Stop it. His hands are moving down to rid himself of the rest of his clothes, but he's so impatient he doesn't even bother to undress all the way. He just wriggles his sweats and boxer briefs down his hips.
While those warm, soft lips can still speak. Tell me how beautiful you think I am.
Oh, absolutely. He doesn't leave me with much choice, does he? I comply, the words slipping from my mouth as soon as they come to me. To use the word beautiful would be a disservice to you, Ilyas. You are beyond beauty. You're a god. You're fucking gorgeous, and no one, mortal or immortal, can even come close to you. He places a massive palm on my chest, squeezing just a bit too hard. The strength I feel in that grip is both terrifying and arousing.
Tell me you've never seen a man as perfect as I am.
Wow, this guy has like the biggest praise king I've ever seen. You're not only the most perfect man I've ever encountered, but you are perfection itself.
Just like that.
Chad, how are you holding up? Hands up, people who aren't dead yet.
Can't wait any longer.
He takes me without ceremony, consuming me like a man long deprived of sustenance. His pace is intense, his presence and physicality overwhelming. It's clear that he needs this, and he intends to take what he wants from me. But I want to give myself to him too. It feels like I've been waiting my entire life to have this experience, and now it's finally here. It's absolute ecstasy. Being in his presence has forced me to contemplate my own mortality, but the way he touches me makes me feel more alive than I ever have. I feel as though he's avoiding biting me even though he'd really like to, but when he slows his pace and looks down at me, it becomes clear why. He's spoken of losing control earlier being a worry. It must be important to him to do this right. He pushes up his knees and sits back, his hands on my knees as he keeps my thighs parted. He's not let up until now, and as he surveys my body below him, it's clear he's far from done.
I'm going to do it when you come, you know.
His gaze is positively wicked as he towers over me.
Make sure it's a good one. If I fuck this up, it'll be the last one you'll ever have.
Thanks for the heads up. He gives me a little pat on the knee, as if he means to reassure me.
But I won't fuck it up. Probably.
I try to speak, but my brain and body are in such ecstasy that I can only moan a form of understanding. Uh-huh. He covers my body with his once again, kissing me in a frenzy as he resumes his unsustainable pace. Also, side note, just to clarify, this is all happening on like the floor in the hallway. We're not doing this in like his room or on the couch or anything like that. It's on the floor. Valeria and Laurel can probably hear us upstairs as just like the floorboards are just creaking with every thrust, and it's just like in full display of everything. If they sauntered down the stairway, they could probably see the two of us going at it. Because he literally just opened the cabinet, like tore the doors off, and was like, you, on the floor, immediately. Which, yes. Yes. Well, unsustainable for me anyway. It's clear he could do this for days.
Scream my name.
Okay, to just show you guys, it's still fine, but this white frame has come up of just like, I am on cloud 9 right now. Okay, screen's going back up. His command is so hard to resist, and the fear that this might be the last orgasm of my life is quickly overcome by my body succumbing to Ilyas' relentless strokes. We're now red. As I cry out his name against his lips, he moves to my neck, his fangs piercing my skin almost immediately. He groans against my neck, peeking alongside as he drains my blood, but I'm hardly in any state to appreciate what's happening to him. The pain of his bite melts with the pleasure of my own peak, and I find myself in this strange state of euphoria. Well, if I have to die, it wouldn't be the worst way to go, would it? Cool liquid fills my mouth, and I nearly choke on it at first, but the pain its ingestion brings sharpens my senses immediately. Every part of my body feels like it's on fire, and it takes a few moments for me to recognize the distorted screams of pain are coming from my own mouth.
I'll be strong now. Stronger than you've ever been. This pain will bring strength and eternal life.
Okay, so the screen has gone black, so I think we're safe to go back. Okay, here we go. It's hard to make sense of his words at first, but as the pain reaches some threshold of equilibrium, I realize Ilyas is holding me and... Is he trying to comfort me? Oh! Hold me, Ilyas. Please. Yes! You're welcome!
You will be beautiful and powerful and terrifying.
Just in time.
I'll fuck you to the smooth sounds of the wigglebats in the moonlight.
Amen! Of all the things to say, it's the last thought my brain can manage before the pain dulls and the last of my life ebbs away. Ah, guys, we did it! Part 4. Save! It's that feeling when you're starting to wake up 5 minutes before your alarm goes off. That prelude to consciousness when you're desperate to stay asleep. My fingers begin to twitch, and I blink as if stuck in the middle of a REM cycle. Slowly I shed my sleepiness, and the events of my last human night come to the forefront of my mind. Everything. I remember it all, from entering the house to meeting the vampires to the interview to Ilyas' bedroom, and finally to the turning. As I lay here in Ilyas' bed, eyes still closed, my senses begin to return. I can smell him all over me, sweet and musky. My new ears tune to the skittering of animals outside. And there's a couple of things I can no longer feel. There's no heartbeat. I can't feel the sleepy warmth of the bedsheets. Still, it's a peaceful sort of awakening. Of all the ways I describe this in my writing, experiencing it now, it's far more serene and calming. Hey, Shauna Stargazer, I am doing great. We just had very aggressive copulations with a very hot vampire on the floor of his house that he shares with 2 other roommates, and we've just been made into a vampire. This is a good Valentine's Day. I let myself take a moment to embrace it all. That is, until I hear the of, is that the Waco lads? I groan as I speak, my mouth and throat parched, and suddenly I have a throbbing headache.
Hell yeah!
Ilyas, really? Okay, I can hear the smirk in his voice. Maybe not on full volume until I'm entirely awake. The mad beat decreases to about half the volume it was before, and it's tolerable. My head is killing me. This is the worst hangover I've ever had. With great effort I manage to lift my heavy eyelids, but I'm not prepared for what unfolds before me. Hey. Ilyas cannonballs onto the bed. My body bounces against the mattress as he lands, and he crawls over to me. Good night, Stephanie. He says it lovingly, like a father welcoming a child to the world. Night? How long was I asleep for?
Dead. You were dead.
His expression is serious, but even still he gyrates his hips and chest to the alluring beats of Europop. I guess he just can't help himself. He meets my gaze as his lips hook into a smirk. You were dead for 3 days. Like Jesus, huh?
But way hotter.
Thank you. My character is officially hotter than Jesus. It is confirmed in text. I laugh, looking up at him in all of his himbo majesty. I feel awake, alive even, but something's off. I lift the covers up to take stock of my situation, and when I look down at my body, I'm almost blinded by an explosion of color. Ilyas? He cocks his head slightly. Why am I dressed like a raver? I hold up the neo-pink pacifier around my neck for emphasis.
You were dead. I was bored.
Really? So you played dress up with me? Okay. Oh my god. Okay, everyone is this is a hell of a thing to wake up to. Okay, let's continue. Don't listen to him, Stephanie. He spent days picking out every article of clothing for you. Down to the pacifier. He wouldn't shut up about you. For the first day, he wouldn't even leave your side. We had to bring blood bags to him, hence the plastic mess everywhere. I'm pleasantly surprised to hear that Ilyas cares so much about my well-being as a new vampire. Cute.
Wait, there's more. Laurel, Val, are you ready?
I'm not ready. What is it? You know what to do, right? Yes, Ilyas. You've been incessantly reminding us every fucking hour. On the hour.
Shut up, you're gonna ruin it!
Get into position. Both Valerie and Laurel pull something from behind their backs and place it on their heads, with Ilyas following suit. Oh my god, is it my birthday? Is it my official welcome you to your own life, Stephanie? I want to hand over my mouth to hide my grin. They look so adorable in their little rainbow party hats, but I'd hate for them to think I'm laughing at them. Oh my god. As my finger curls around my cheek, my pinky brushes against a string looped under my chin. It seems I too am wearing one of those ridiculous hats. I open my mouth to say something smart to Ilyas, but he puts a finger to my mouth to hush me. Moving from me into the bed to his companions, he hands them what looks like party poppers. It's such a surreal sight after our intimidating introduction. They all look so happy together. One might even be tempted to pronounce them harmless, but I know better.
Come on.
Okay. On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday.
Yay! For fuck's sake. After partaking in the apparently traditional vampire re-birthday celebration, Ilyas lets me take a moment to compose myself. I stretch my hands up to the sky, and as I bring them down into fists, I feel a strength I've never felt before coursing through my muscles. I'm strong. Unbelievably so. Honestly, that was so unexpected, but I'm just so delighted. It's so dumb, but I love it. I love it so much. I'm strong, unbelievably so. I look for the biggest, heaviest object in the room, and it's the very thing I'm in, the bed. I jump out from beneath the covers, excitement running through me like an electrical current as I bend down to give it a try. I place one hand under the frame and lift it so swiftly and easily I have to stop myself before I fling it right into the wall. Easy. I do a couple of bicep curls with it for good measure before I put it back in its rightful place, not wanting to disrupt Ilyas' room too much. I'm actually a vampire, a real-life blood-sucking fiend. Saying the words out loud make it feel 10 times more real. I turn to show Ilyas my newfound strength, but he's in the process of slingshotting his hat into the air. Or attempting to, anyway. He loops the string around his thumb and pulls back, but the string is no match for the might of his thumb. It snaps almost immediately and drops right out of his hand. Ilyas, bless him, doesn't seem the least bit embarrassed by his failure. He just grins at me like he planned this.
See? I told you I wasn't gonna fuck it up.
Ironic given the party hat now lying on the floor between us, but I know he means turning me. I'll let him have this one. I do have to give you that.
How many times do I have to tell you I'm perfect before you get it?
He looks so sincerely proud of himself, it's honestly heartwarming. I think I'm starting to get it now. Thinking about Ilyas, Valerie, and Laurel standing together, it hits me that my entire life has changed in ways I couldn't possibly fathom. Everything I thought I knew, all the things I held dear, all of that's behind me now. And yet, the thought is strangely appealing. My stomach flutters and my chest tightens, but the tears that spring to my eyes don't feel like any sort of grief at all. It feels like a new beginning, and just maybe, belonging. Is that it? Is that the end? Okay, a little bit more. I wander downstairs and find myself back where I started, in the foyer. The portrait of nasty Dennis feels no less threatening though, despite my newfound immortality. I chuckle to myself. Just 3 days ago, I was a regular human who stumbled my way into their lives. So much has changed, and I'm still the same me. I'm still Stephanie. Well, that's not completely true. I'm the Technicolor version of myself, remastered, now on Blu-ray. Laurel graciously hands me a glass filled with blood. I don't ask where it came from, and I don't care. I'm suddenly all too aware of the way my throat burns. My body aches to taste my first drop. I greedily snatch the wine glass from their hands and down it in one go, like a frat boy at a kegger. I catch the messy dribble of blood that runs down my chin with the back of my hand. I lick it clean, careful not to waste a drop. Fuck, that's good. I look at them all staring at me, eyes wide, grins wider. I realize I probably look like a wild animal, unable to control myself. Shit, I'm sorry.
Think nothing of it. Your first drink should have that kind of emotion behind it.
The ache never dulls. It's glorious.
You'll get used to it. Control comes with practice, kitten.
Valeria carefully pours me a second drink from a blood bag. Oh, negative. Drink up. I savor this round. I take small sips, letting it linger on my tongue and really enjoying the taste for the first time. Copper sweet, like a mouthful of pennies with a spoonful of sugar on top. I wonder if every human tastes the same. A woozy kind of drunkenness overtakes me, a semi-replacement for the warmth I now lack. I think I need to sit down.
Come on.
Ilyas guides me over to the sofa and we both take a seat before Valeria and Laurel follow suit. We all cozy up together in the too small space. Ugh. Finally an excuse to get a new sofa. I fucking hate this thing. Blood tipsy and sated, I can't help but smile as I sink back into the plush cushions. How do you feel? It's a lot to take in, and I'm sure it'll take some time to get used to the whole being dead thing. But I feel good. Really good.
Luckily, you've got eternity to figure it out.
Unless you find yourself in the hands of a vampire hunter.
I'll tear anyone who tries to harm you apart with my bare hands. Can't believe there are really vampire hunters though. Next you'll tell me that Mothman is real. Laurel stares at me blankly.
Well.
He is. He has a great ass. Oh my god, if these guys have fucked Mothman, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna fucking lose it. But regardless, I wouldn't worry your pretty little head about hunters, Stephanie. It's been what, 50 years since we last encountered one? The last vampire hunter that dared to enter the city of Portland didn't last very long. We destroyed them without even breaking a sweat. Pathetic.
We celebrated our resounding victory with sprinkled donuts.
Okay, I can still eat human food, that's good to know. Ilyas huffs, clearly offended that Laurel took the glamour out of his story. Yeah, covered in blood and guts of our brutally slain enemies.
Free donuts are the only real way to celebrate anyway.
Ilyas huffs and holds his huge arms across his chest, an impressive pout on his lips. I need to hear this story in intricate detail. Some other time. We promise to teach you everything you need to know. I just want to know how to contribute to protecting our coven if shit hits the fan, you know? We are a coven, right? What's the proper terminology here? Brood, clutch, pack, clan, coven, all are interchangeable. What should I call us? You're our kin. Kin. I let the name settle on my tongue. I like it. Good, because you're here to stay. You have to like it. The room falls into silence, and it's the comfortable kind. I look around, taking everything in. Powerful Ilyas, entrancing Laurel, breathtaking Valeria. I smile to myself. This is my new home, my new life, my new world. Finally, I belong. Okay, and it's the end. Okay, we're right at the end.
Save.
Let's party, baby. Or is it going to roll to credits? Yay, there we go. Guys, we did it. We survived the night. We became a vampire. It's a little bit touch and go for a minute, but there was a very particular number of things that we had to do. But we got there. We got there, and oh my god, they're so hot. All of them are so hot, looking at them so respectfully. A big thank you and congratulations to Marie Westbrook, Jalen Cassell, and Alejandro Saab for all of their absolutely amazing work on this. Like, the dialogue was so fun and so spicy. So good. But look at these guys. Look at these hot geeks. I love them. I love them all so much. Like, yes, and yes. Like, this has been an amazing choice of game for Valentine's Day. I was a little worried that things would maybe get a little too hot to handle, just because I couldn't find any. This might make me sound like I'm a creep, but I did have to check or Google search like if there was like not safe for work pictures like that you unlock during the course of the game, just because then I knew for certain if it was stream appropriate or not. But I'm glad I made that safety screen just in case, and I'll have that at standby in case I do dip my toe into more spicy games in the future. But this is probably like the spiciest I'm probably willing to stream or feel comfortable streaming. But honestly, this was so fun, and it was so tongue-in-cheek, like some of the lines, and just very aware of itself, very aware of what the player is probably like, what their interests are, what we love. And I fucking love vampires. I love vampires so much. And I'm so glad I picked this game for Valentine's Day. And honestly, things just aligned perfectly. Because this was just a fun game that I could do in one stream. And it feels like the perfect pick for a Valentine's Day stream. So thank you all so very much for joining me tonight, guys, as we enjoyed First Bite. We savored every delicious drop of it. And the developers, First Bite Games, are working on a new game at the moment. I think it's scheduled to come out in around Halloween or so. I need to look into the particulars of it, but this was just fun and spicy and good, and the voice acting was great and the dialogue was great. So thank you so much for joining me tonight, my lovelies, and now feels like the time where we're going to wrap things up. So if you've been lurking in the shadows and you like what you've seen so far, please consider following. We would love to have you back at the Blue Rose Respite. You're welcome anytime. Be sure to check out my two YouTube channels, one for my ASMR tales and the other for my Twitch VODs. On my second channel for my Twitch VODs, earlier today I released a supercut that I put together of all of the scenes with Astarion and my Tav Silesia for the playthrough that I just completed for Baldur's Gate 3, including the epilogue that I wrote her and some fun little RP scenes that I also wrote and ad-libbed during the stream. So be sure to check that out and give it plenty of love. On Friday, I will be starting my first ever Dark Urge run that I'm very excited for. And on Sunday, I have a new game in mind to play, but I'm going to be announcing what that is tomorrow with a post I'll go across all my socials. Be sure to give a lot of love to my Insta, my TikTok, and my Twitter as well if you're not already following those. But I am very sleepy, so let's see who's currently live, and we will send them some love. You know what? Because it's Valentine's Day, I'm going to let you guys go and do your own thing tonight. Because today, whether you're spending it with a sweetheart or you're spending it by yourself, I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I'm going to let you guys go to enjoy the rest of your Valentine's Day, to do your own thing. But thank you so much for joining me tonight, my lovelies. I will see you on Friday for starting my Baldur's Gate 3 Dark Urge run. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of the week. And remember, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. And as always, stay wicked and wonderful. Good night, my lovelies.